came from PAX. We're
Oh,
just
Jesus,
coming off
that's
of
right.
Gamescom. A whole bunch of stuff is happening in the world of video games. I'm Andrea Renee, joined in person, in the flesh, by Christine Steimer.
Hi, I got to hug you today.
We did get to hug.
Just
I also hugged Brittany Brombacher.
It was great. Hi, hello.
And I don't think I've hugged Alexa Ray Korea yet.
Nope. I'm here though.
I was on the phone when
I'll get you
walked
later.
in.
I'll get you later.
I'll get you later. We are here to talk about all things video games. We are your source for nerdy news, and we hope that you guys are enjoying the show. Thank you so much for coming in and listening to us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And if you guys aren't listening, if you're watching, we'd really appreciate it if you could head on over to iTunes or Google Play or Spotify and download the podcast. Maybe leave us a rating, a review, or if you want to get even more involved, we've got our Patreon website. That's patreon.com/whatsgoodgames, where you get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and all other kinds of cool stuff. We have some exclusive streams that happened this week. If you are a patron and you got to see them, you saw the shenanigans that happened. But if you want to get in on the action, once again, head to that website, patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. Okay, so ladies,
Yes.
Gamescom just happened this week.
It did.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff happened.
All the stuff.
We got a bunch of news to talk about.
News.
So,
Hit us with it.
Hit me.
well, not literally.
No,
Um,
it's like Britney Spears hit me one more time. It's not a literal hit.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing on my docket today, Mass Effect Andromeda will not be receiving any additional DLC, but the franchise isn't dead. So this is an interesting story. Before we get into the specifics, let me read their official statement. And this is from MassEffect.com.
I feel like we need to insert some like dramatic music here.
I need-
No,
Yeah.
like the Mass Effect music.
Some like violin.
They've
Okay.
got such dramatic
Violin,
music
yes,
already.
okay.
Yeah. On August 19th, BioWare general manager and Mass Effect series creator Casey Hudson tweeted out saying that he would definitely love to continue working on the series. That's not the official statement.
No.
No,
There's a
that's
link.
just Casey
That's
being
Casey's
like,
tweet.
There's a
yo,
link.
I made
I
this
read the
thing.
wrong
I'm not
thing.
giving up
As
on
we
it
all
yet.
know, tweets are dubious at best.
I mean,
No, I it's pretty clear Casey's. I mean, they're not going to do it tomorrow, but
Right,
like,
but he'll do it.
This
But
is
we'll
not.
get
he's
into
gonna do
that.
it. Exactly.
we'll get into that. We got to read the official
Here's
statement.
the statement.
Do we?
Since the release of Mass Effect Andromeda, we've worked hard to address feedback from our community. From improving animations to expanding customization options, we look to respond to your concerns and build on what you loved. With each patch, you let us know we were heading in the right direction, and we're grateful to everyone who joined us on this journey. We're proud of what we've created, and we hope you've enjoyed it as well. Early in development, we decided to focus Mass Effect Andromeda's story on the Pathfinder, the exploration of the Andromeda Galaxy, and the conflict with the Archon. The game was designed to further expand on the Pathfinder's journey through this new galaxy with story-based Apex multiplayer missions, and we will continue to tell stories in the Andromeda Galaxy through our upcoming comics and novels, including the fate of the Quarian Arc. Our last update, 1.10, was the final update for Mass Effect Andromeda. There are no planned future patches for single-player or in-game story content. In the coming weeks, our multiplayer team will provide details on their ongoing support and upcoming content, including new multiplayer missions, character kits, and what's in store for N7 Day. We appreciate all the millions of people who came with us to the Andromeda Galaxy. We hope to see you again in the Mass Effect universe. The Mass Effect Andromeda team.
I have questions.
Okay,
Yes.
what's the
I
question?
have questions.
Yeah, what's
Sadly
that?
confused. Hi, Alexa. Question for you. I can't tell by this statement, and I went back and I did a little research, and I couldn't find anything that maybe pointed to it otherwise. But did they promise, or did they say that they were going to work on more in the future, and then this was like we're done, or was it always planned as this was the end?
You mean for the whole game, or you mean for DLC?
No, just for the single player stuff.
The
for
Quarian.
DLC. The Quarian stuff had been kind of hinted at in game.
Right.
But then obviously it launched. Things didn't go so well.
Right.
And I think they had kind of I don't think it was an official statement, but there was that whole story of we're not doing any more Mass Effects for a while. Like we're kind of, and B Team is going back to being B Team and kind of lost its shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where this is now bubbling back up and becoming a story again, that no, Mass Effect is not, I don't want to say dead because it was never dead, but it's not dormant maybe.
It's not goodbye forever.
It's not goodbye forever.
No.
It's goodbye for now. And we will see you soon.
No, I don't think I don't
Soon
know
TM.
if there was ever a statement from BioWare saying, yes, we are absolutely going to be producing more single-player story content,
Yeah,
which I think is what
I
you're
couldn't
asking.
find one.
I think it was just one of those things that everyone assumed we would get it because there were some major story things toward the end of the game. Actually, at the end of the game, we were like, that is very interesting. And this was kind of like a shocker to me personally.
Yeah.
Did you also think the Korean arc? I thought the Korean arc was going to be, if not just a few hour DLC, but maybe like a mini expansion type DLC.
Yeah. I mean, do we want
It could have been.
Right.
But now I guess it's going to be a comic.
I'm not sure. Like
What?
That's
I don't
what they,
read.
That's what they just said. They were saying like
Yes, you
the
do.
Korean,
Yeah, it's a lie, I
including the Korean arc storyline, that they will
The
wrap
comics
that
and
up
stuff.
in other ways because they aren't developing any more game development time toward that.
I think it was always the impression, based off the history of the Mass Effect franchise, that single player DLC was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And how they did not have something already in the works is a little shocking to me. I'm pretty sure they probably had something that they had worked on, but then EA probably came in after the initial release of Andromeda and all of the negative, buzz around the game and said, hey, we're going to cut off funding. Like, we're
Yeah.
not going to put anything else out. And that, to me, like, the idea that they maybe were working on something and then it got, like, canceled is kind of a bummer.
I don't think that many of them would have been working on it though. They probably had like an
True.
outline because that game like sort of limped to the finish line.
Right.
So I don't think it was an instance of like this was almost done and then we cut it. I think it was like we probably had some ideas and then it was like we aren't going to fund this like work on something else.
Yeah, I mean, the development of Mass Effect Andromeda, from what we've heard and what we've been led to believe, was pretty messy, right? I think it was the last 18 months that it was assumed that the majority of the game was finished, which meant it was a bunch of things were probably scrapped and reworked. So I agree, Steimer, there probably wasn't like heck of a lot besides some like storyboards, like what they were going to do.
Right.
But I mean, and I don't know if I'm being unfair with this, so I'd like to hear your opinion, all of you. I feel like we not deserve, I don't know if that's the word, but I feel like it's kind of shitty that we're not getting this Korean arc thing in the form of game content.
It definitely leaves a lot on the table, and I feel like there's enough there that it presents itself as something that needs to be experienced rather than read about. I would much rather experience that in a game than read about it in a comic, to be totally honest.
I totally agree with you.
Right.
However, I think this was a well-calculated move to drop it like a hot potato and not come back to Andromeda because there's been so much negative press. Even if this Korean arc thing had come out and been perfect, you're never going to be able to get past that kind of a launch.
Yeah.
So the fact that I think it hurts because I wanted that content. It's smart to be like, okay, that was Andromeda, everybody. Give it a round of applause. We're moving on to the next thing.
So, so touching on what you said there about the negative press, there was an interview that EA's executive vice president, Patrick Sutherland, did at Gamescom with Games Reactor, where he said, well, I think my personal opinion is I think that the game, I usually don't do this, but this is one of those places where I feel like that got criticized a little bit more than it deserves. I think the game is actually a great game. Yes, we have to acknowledge the fact that there was some things that maybe we could have done better, absolutely. But as a whole, if you go in and you buy the game today with everything that's in it today, I believe that that's a game worth buying personally. So that's the first thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say is for Mass Effect as a franchise that has such a big fan base, and I see you waving your finger.
No, I know.
Steimer, hold on.
It's hard for me to stop it.
And you know, I've seen people saying, oh, EA's not making another Mass Effect. I see no reason why we shouldn't come back to Mass Effect. Why not? It's a spectacular universe. It's a loved series. It has a big fan base, and it's a game that has done a lot for EA and for BioWare. What we need to be careful, though, of is whenever we bring Mass Effect back again, we have to make sure that we bring it back in a really relevant way, in a fresh, exciting place. That's my job, and that's Casey's job, and BioWare and the Mass Effect team's job to figure out what that looks like, and that we don't know, yet, but we will.
My issue with the thing, like he said, was at the very beginning where he says,
The
if
game
you
is
buy
now
if you buy the game today, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, today
Okay,
you
today.
fixed it. Like, but when you bought that game at launch, there was plenty to be upset about. I think
Absolutely.
as a consumer,
Right.
And granted, and like Britt and I both enjoyed this game, so like we're not trashing it by any means, but I think that that's a little bit of a cop-out statement to be like, well, today you can buy it and it's fine. And you're like, well, yeah, but
He probably regrets saying that.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I'm
with,
sure
I
somebody-
agree with Britt here. I think no one can dispute that game had a multitude of issues, and we all on this panel are big Mass Effect fans, right? So we love this series. We love BioWare. We love what they do and what they create. But that game had a multitude of criticisms, and especially coming off the fiasco that was Mass Effect 3's ending and how they patched in a new ending, and we were all had these big expectations because it had been so many years since the last Mass Effect game.
Yep.
The idea that they kind of like whiffed the landing on this was really disappointing.
I feel like, and this is not a criticism of BioWare, this is an observation. I'm interested to hear what you gals think. Between the Mass Effect ending, the outcry was so bad that they had to make a new ending. And then the outcry against this one being so bad that they're just leaving it alone. I feel like BioWare is very much at almost the whimsy of its fan base. Like very intimately so. Like I can't think of any other franchise that has like thrown things off the table or built entirely new things because its fan base was like whipped into a frothy lather over it.
I mean, oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead.
Because I loved Mass Effect. I thought Mass Effect 3's, and I'll say it, I thought Mass Effect 3's original ending, I like the sad, kind of not super happy ending. So I thought it was a very poignant ending.
I was fine
hated
with
that
it.
ending.
And
I was
yeah,
fine with
and then
it.
there's people that hated it. But you didn't whip
You
yourself
didn't,
into
did
a
you
frothy
demand
lather.
a redo?
See what happened. So here are the emotions that I felt as I finished.
Tell me
Mass
your
Effect
emotions,
3.
Steimer. Give me your emotions. Give me.
Sadness and confusion.
Okay.
So I was never angry, but I was real perplexed.
Okay.
And I didn't understand why these were my choices or what was going on or how this could possibly have imagined or why on earth the best option was fusing together technology and organic life
spoilers.
in a way that you make a decision for every life form in the universe.
Yeah.
That's deep. And like, how can you do that and say that that's the good ending when you haven't discussed this with anybody? Anyway, sorry. But so that was my weird rant.
Commander Shepard
No,
is
it's different.
Jesus. That's what it is.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
The other thing that bothered me about it is because the way the games are set up, Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 play into this idea that if you play this game correctly, you can get the reward. The suicide mission does not have to be a suicide mission. Like you can get around that. Rex doesn't have to die. That's, like if you are smart enough in the way that you're allocating your points, you can charm your way out of that. So the game sets up all these different scenarios that are like, oh, you must choose one or the other, except if you do X. And then the ending was so vastly different and was really just like, no, this is it. It does not matter what you did the entire game. This is all you have. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And we're going against everything
That's
that
fair.
you
I
A
don't
lot of
want
games do that, though.
I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of what
Sorry,
was wrong with the ending of Mass
Yes.
Effect 3.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, maybe we should.
That we could devote an entire episode just to that topic, and maybe we will at some point. Maybe we'll do like a special video on that. But the point is, he is saying that he thought that Mass Effect Andromeda got unfairly criticized, and I will agree with him here. I think that he probably didn't choose his words as wisely as he should have when he said the way the game is today. I think if they had come forward and said, hey, you're right, we effed up, here's the patch, it's going to make it better. But I think the more important conversation is why is this happening so frequently in video games today? In the last 12 to 18 months, I can think of more than a handful of AAA titles that have launched with pretty gigantic problems that they've patched out within the first 4 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to kind of ask ourselves, why are publishers like Electronic Arts, like Ubisoft, like Bethesda, allowing their games to hit these ship dates when they know that the game has these catastrophic bugs and glitches and problems? Why don't they just push it back?
Because
Money.
Exactly. Because money. And Mass Effect, you'll notice, launched right before the end of the quarter, right before the end of the fiscal quarter
Yep.
for EA. So they're trying to get that money in before they have to go to their investors, and they can be like, well, we got something, right? Because I think that game had already been pushed so much that it was kind of like at the tail end of what it could be production wise before they started, they need to make money on this eventually.
But Britt, I want to hear from you. Why do you think they're making the choice to potentially alienate an audience like they did with Mass Effect Andromeda instead of waiting and not doing that and then making more money on the back end? What do you think is motivating these publishers? Obviously money is a good example, but look, it completely backfired for EA when it comes to Mass Effect.
I admittedly don't have a lot of insider knowledge when it comes to like who's calling the shots for these publishers, like who's making these things coming. Like when Christine was like, hey, yeah, they launched right before the fiscal, it's like, okay, that makes sense. The only thing I can imagine, and this is my ignorant point of view, is that there's just someone up there on the corporate ladder who's like, we need money, we need to do this, and this needs to go out now. Maybe there's something signed. I don't know, because I don't know that side of it very well. But I have to imagine that it has nothing to do with the choices of the people making the games, because they know what people want. They know what people are going to complain about. And so to me, it's just kind of a shitty thing. It seems like a shitty thing that they get so much backlash with BioWare. They got so much freaking backlash on this. And I understand. Like, people are angry and like, you made this game. Why did it launch like this? But maybe there's an untold story people don't know about. And I just wish people would maybe try to learn more, says the person who doesn't know a lot about the way that those things works. But I just have to imagine it's someone who doesn't really know much and just cares about the money. That's my ignorant thoughts.
I don't think that's ignorant. I think that's a very good read on the situation.
Or it might just be a lose-lose situation where it's not that they don't care, but they're like, look, we need a game, and yours is the closest.
Yeah, that's true. And that game took a long time to come out too. So I guess, you got to push it live when you got to push it live. But I think we as fans would have gladly waited another 3 to 6 months or longer if they had actually shipped the game in this completed form without broken dialogue and facial animations and a whole other slew of problems.
And I think BioWare would have happily waited another 6 to 9 months.
Exactly.
Okay. Moving on, even though we could talk more.
We could.
On to another thing that you're probably going to talk a lot about. Final Fantasy 15.
Oh my God!
Pocket Edition has been revealed, and we have a release date for the Monsters of the Deep VR experience, is that what we're calling it. So Final Fantasy 15 is expanding its horizons once again with the announcement for iOS, Android, and Windows 10 devices launching later this year. That's Pocket Edition. And revealed at Gamescom by Square Enix, the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition retells the story of the original game over 10 downloadable episodes, with all episodes launching simultaneously. And as a bonus, the first episode will be free of charge.
Wait, is it a game?
It's a game.
It's a game.
What do you...
It's okay. So think of like chibi Final Fantasy 15 characters. It admittedly...
Chibi, right? Is that what
Chibi.
Okay.
Chibi. Is that what I said?
Chibi.
Chibi.
It admittedly looks really cute. It looks cute. If you're not watching, you need to see Alexa's reactions right now.
That's okay. We'll put it in GIF
But
form.
no, I'll just preface it with it looks adorable. Alexa, you're like a volcano about to erupt. You go, girl.
What's going on? What's happening? What is happening? What is happening?
Wait, so this is the game I didn't play, but in a chibi form and on my phone?
Right.
So oh my God.
Okay.
Please explain.
Okay, so it is the main storyline retold. That is the main story told, I think, in 10 episodes. So it's a narrative. It's a narrative.
There you go.
It's a narrative portion. I'm getting really excited moving away from the microphone. It's the narrative portion. It focuses on the story. For iOS, but you have to pay for each episode. If I am not
after the
mistaken.
first one, the first one's free. Yeah.
You have to pay
Did
for each
they
episode.
announce pricing?
So
I don't even know if they officially confirmed that you'll have to pay for the additional episodes, but the fact that they're saying the first one is
episode's
free.
I'm going to reserve judgment until I know how much each episode costs. And then we can
why wouldn't you have to pay for
pass that judgment. I mean, maybe you can't, like, I would think maybe if they're retelling the whole story, maybe they would pay once just for everything.
I don't know. I might do this so I don't have to play the whole game.
Sure, and that. Well, I mean, you should play the whole game. The whole game, it's a good game.
That's
I
a big
mean, but
commitment.
that's an interesting perspective.
You know what's
Right,
interesting
right.
about the Pocket Edition? As I was talking about this earlier
Oh my
this
god,
week,
it's so cute.
It's adorable. Cindy
Yeah.
looks creepy, but everyone looks
She
great.
still has that booty.
is that people were talking about, well, what maybe this means since they've announced it for PC, right? That 170 gigabyte crazy
Yes.
download for PC
With mods.
with 8K, and that now they've announced a Windows or excuse me, iOS and Android version that maybe they'll bring the Pocket Edition to Switch.
Did you see the Twitch interview with Tabata?
I
where
did not.
So
Tell me.
there was an interview streamed on Twitch with Hajime Tabata, my BFF over in BD2, and he said that there's a lot of interest in Business Division 2 in bringing Final Fantasy to a console that sounds a lot like Twitch. And he very openly was just like, there's a lot of interest in it. There's a lot of interest in it.
Please.
If Final Fantasy 15 comes to Switch, I will 100% play it again. I
But
think it's
would
brilliant.
you want the Pocket Edition?
No.
Because I don't think there's any way that Square Enix will be able to port Final Fantasy as is for PS4 and Xbox One to the Switch.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to play the Pocket Edition. I mean, I'm going to play the Pocket Edition because I've bought it and it's mine now. I'm
not on
here
the
forever.
I don't wanna,
but I don't.
I'm going
But if they're going to put it on the Switch, they would make it would just make
every Square marketer there is just like cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yep.
It would just be
we know
so-
the fans will pay again.
right. It would just be me.
And we will.
Me.
No, I am too.
I will pay again.
I'm there with you. I'm going
Me.
to play the crap out of it.
For real, give it to me. I know how it ends.
But
play it again.
The question is, do we need this? And what
Yes.
do you think?
No.
I was like, we do? And then I was going to ask you,
So-
what,
I
like
what
that
do
you
you think
automatically, Brittany was like, yes, we do need this.
prompted them to make this? Like, truly.
Okay, so have any of you played Mobius Final Fantasy?
No.
No.
Mobius Final Fantasy
Is
is
that
a
the one with Ariana Grande in it?
What?
Yeah.
Ariana Grande's in
Okay,
Final
look,
Fantasy?
I just gotta say, Square Enix, you
Oh,
put
no,
Ariana Grande in your damn game, and you haven't put me in your game yet.
I
It's a
get so
tragedy.
many press
Can
releases
you
about
sing like
that.
an angel?
No, but I'm basically a built-to-order like Final Fantasy character. I'm clumsy, I'm sassy, and I can hit people real hard. So
You look like Tifa today, but minus the like short shorts. Just the
Thank you.
doesn't she
Yeah.
wear a white shirt?
she has like the
Like a
white
little-
shirt,
like
that's
a
like the
little
high
thing,
waisted with like
Yeah.
the short shorts. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got the to match as well. Anyway,
That's a king. That's
I
that was
motioned
Britt's
to my
necklace,
breast.
yes?
That's what happened. It's a breast joke. But
I thought is that the Kingdom Hearts necklace?
no,
was
this
a
is a
Sailor
Sailor Moon
Moon
necklace.
boobs.
Sailor Moon
I'm wearing a
necklace.
Sailor Moon
No,
necklace.
Brittany, I'm not talking about her boobs.
Oh.
I'm not.
I
I'm
was
talking
talking about
her
my boobs.
necklace.
And I
It's a
said
Sailor
Sailor
Moon.
Sailor Moon.
It's a Sailor Moon
Okay,
necklace.
we're devolving. Okay.
Anyway,
Why do we
but-
need this?
So I think so. Mobius Final Fantasy built for mobile. It is a full Final Fantasy game with a story, and they've added a lot of content to it over the year. It's about 1 year old now, and it has done exceedingly well. It crossed, I think, 1 million downloads, like very close to it launching in North America. It saw great success here, great success in Japan. So Square Enix is seeing the success of Final Fantasy on mobile. The Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key game also did pretty well on mobile. So I can see why they thought, okay, everyone, Final Fantasy 15 is our thing right now. People have liked it. Why don't we bring that to mobile? But Square, but they obviously have to do it in a different way. You can't bring Final Fantasy 15 as it exists on console to mobile.
Right.
So they're bringing it to mobile. Square has found great success on mobile with the Final Fantasy franchise. It makes complete sense that this would come out. I think it looks super cute. I was surprised by it, but it does make sense. Do we need it? If you're me and Brittany, yeah. If you're not, then no. And if you're someone who hasn't played Final Fantasy 15 yet, but is maybe a more casual or general game player who does play a lot of games on their
Don't call
phone.
me fucking casual.
I'm not calling you casual.
No,
I'm
I'm
saying
not you, Brittany.
Brittany's like
Brittany.
staring daggers at Steimer right now.
the people that the people that maybe buy one game a year and don't update their content. The people that are there's a game and I will play it. This would be for them. This would be something that they would check out. I imagine it's the same demographic of people that play like the Telltale games on their phone, who are like, the phone is my gaming console.
Yeah.
So this is a totally good business move. It makes total sense. I feel like now it's just, and this is not a bad thing, but I feel like it's just absolutely giggle worthy. Just the amount of Final Fantasy 15 that is out there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining. However,
Yeah.
I think, I'm going to play it. Like we said, we are the people who will
I'll
do
play.
this. I think it would rub me a little bit the better way, whatever. If it was like, thank you, Steimer, for rubbing me
You're
in a
holding
good way.
the pillow.
Oh yeah. If there was like new story information.
New stuff?
New stuff. Because
There might be down the line. We don't know that yet.
But if there is, why didn't you announce that in your press release? Why do you say it's the retelling of the same adventure? That's
'Cause they are
confusing.
mysterious.
Okay.
Because
Also,
because
their
it's-
wording, I have to say, their wording of the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition is very similar to the wording that they have used around the 7 remake, as it's a retelling of the story.
But the gameplay is completely different.
Gameplay is different. No, it is different. But
Well, it has to be different because it's mobile.
But I would like
But-
to see what when we get because we're gonna get 15 Pocket Edition before we get Final Fantasy 7 remake. But I want to see what this game is, and then I feel like that will inform us of what we're getting with Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Okay, so ladies, I have to ask.
Yeah.
Ask me.
10 episodes.
10.
First one's free. How much do you think they're going to charge for each of these episodes?
$2.99. That's my guess.
So for 9 episodes at $3 a piece, we're talking about $27.
I'm guessing it's $2.99 each,
I mean, that's basically
and maybe
arithmetic, Steimer.
$25 for all of them together.
Do we know? We don't know how long these episodes are.
We
No.
don't. But if it's 10 episodes that span the length of the entire game,
How would
Each
they break that
episode,
into 10?
each episode has to cover roughly 6 hours.
Because there's 14
of Final
chapters.
Fantasy 15.
There's 14
But
chapters.
it's a lot of it wandering around. Maybe it's condensing.
No.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
no cooking, no driving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
no
say
snapping
$4.99
Per episode.
per episode, and
So
everyone's
you're
gonna
saying-
Are these
lose.
prices right?
and they're
rules?
gonna
So you think
lose their shit.
$45 for the whole game.
No,
on
that'd be
mobile.
ridiculous.
No, I think it'd be like $25 for
Yeah,
the whole
that-
game
yeah.
total if you buy like the pass that gets everything at once.
I think I'd be interested to answer this again once we know more of what we're getting.
Right. No, I just like when I hear something that's 10 episodes and you have to pay per episode for a mobile title, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff to
This
pay
is
for.
Final Fantasy 15 we're talking about. No, there are no rules anymore.
Yeah, but it's as you said, it's a very edited version of
Yeah.
the actual game.
I'm interested to see how they pair that story down, how they parse it out,
Right.
in what way. I'm very, very curious, and I'm curious to see if maybe that's a format moving forward. Like maybe Final Fantasy 16 will just be mobile.
Oh no! Stop it!
gosh.
Stop it, Alexa Ray.
I don't know. I'm just
No.
thinking things. Also, footnote:
No.
Monsters of the Deep. Can't wait to freaking play that. It looks awesome.
I think we're gonna
Monster of
have
the
to
Deep.
do like a let's play or stream of that.
Yes.
Yeah, it comes out in November.
November
We
20th.
have
21st?
we have PSVR, we have a Oculus. We can make it happen.
I will catch your fish.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
will
will.
do the thing.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So this next story is just more of like a announcement on your thoughts about this. So we know that at E3 2017, Bethesda showed off the VR versions of 3 of its biggest games: Fallout 4, Skyrim, and Doom, all coming to
favorite, Steimer,
virtual
Skyrim.
reality. And today, not today, Bethesda announced when players will be able to try them out. So Skyrim VR is launching on November 17th for PSVR. An HTC Vive version is coming next year. Doom VFR. Yes, they put fucking in their title.
Yeah,
That's
they
the best.
Yeah, you did, Bethesda.
Will be available on both Vive and
We like you.
PSVR on December 1st. And finally, Fallout 4 VR will release on December 12th and will only be playable on Vive. So this is an interesting mix of platforms here that they've made deals with quite clearly.
Quick question before we go into this. Do you have to pay for these editions separately, or is it like if you already own Fallout 4 or whatever, you could get the VR version as a free add-on?
That is a great question. I believe you have to buy them separately.
Steimer, how do you feel about this?
Great.
No,
We know how much
Alexa.
you love Skyrim.
Alexa needs to retell quickly the E3 story of Bethesda.
So Steimer and I are doing the thing.
We're
Was
just
it
watching-
Bethesda
Bethesda
E3
conference, all
press
of us
Was it
were.
conference?
Bethesda? Was it the yeah, it was the no, it was the
Bethesda land?
Nintendo one.
No.
So
Oh,
it was the Nintendo one.
Yeah.
So like Skyrim VR had been announced. Skyrim, Your Mom has been announced. Like it's all these versions of Skyrim have been announced, and it's the Nintendo press conference, and they're like, and we're bringing. We're talking Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch, and she's scrolling through her phone, and she goes, "Oh great, more fucking Skyrim!" Like not even like thinking, and I'm just like, "Holy shit!" And I burst out laughing. And she's
Meanwhile,
like,
at the
Bethesda.
Bethesda E3 conference, I lost my shit. I was a
Brittany,
little drunk.
like full
I
on
lost
melted down
hearing.
when they showed Dovahkiin running around in Link's
Linkakeen.
outfit with the Master Sword.
I was very excited. I was a little drunk.
We had a very interesting conversation with Pete Hines after that about if you play as Link, because Link doesn't talk, can you not use shouts? So is playing as Link like a no shout run of Skyrim? How does that
No,
work?
Dovahkiin still shouts because he's not Link. He's Dovahkiin.
Yeah, but would all his shouts be ha?
Hey,
I would love it if they gave him a fairy shout.
That's
Like,
him. That's him
"Hey,
falling and
listen,
dying.
listen." Oh yeah.
I should do voice acting. Call me Nintendo.
We just need to make a segment of Alexa making Link noises.
I can also do the R2D2 scream, but I'm not going to do it now because I can't lyrics. I'll do it some other time.
Okay.
So have any of you ladies actually experienced these VR experiences?
No.
Doom VR
Yes.
is bonker banana
No,
bonkers.
Doom VR is scary. I was like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. No. It was it's too many demons too quickly all around you. I can't handle.
Too many demons. Andrew Renee.
So is it
What's
too
good game?
chaotic?
Doom VFR. Too many demons.
Too many demons.
But
Too
it's
many demons.
but Doom in itself, like on console or PC, was intense. I had to take many breaks because it was so intense. And like in VR,
Your demon
it was,
tolerance
I was
is
like,
really
my
low.
brain was like, no.
Yeah, I feel like that game, even though I didn't play it, I've seen footage of it, and I'm like, that seems like too fast of a game for you to really want to play in VR.
I felt like there's a lot of throw up potential with that game.
Right. I mean, granted, they do the
Yeah.
teleporting, but still, like,
Yeah.
you still have to turn around, right, to like shoot the demons in the head.
Yeah.
The
I made
face.
it like 10 minutes and then I felt like I was going to just vomit all of my guts out.
Yeah.
Bummer.
It's really great, but I can't do it.
It's
Too
it's
many
a
demons.
thing.
Too many demons.
But Skyrim in VR is something that I have not tried, but I would be very interested in trying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dual
I
wielding?
don't, I don't care.
Casting fireballs and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. I'm more into like the medieval RPG experience in VR than I would be like in something like Doom, where you can just kind of lose yourself and see dragons and shit.
Demons.
Yeah.
Right. So, question. Do you
Yes.
think like Bethesda put these games into development back when the VR hype was really real and everyone's like, oh my God, VR, oh my God, VR. And do you think they would still develop for VR today? Knowing like how I feel like VR has kind of fizzled out a bit.
It's interesting that you asked that because I had this conversation with somebody else and I said VR is not fizzling out. They're having a little temporary lull when it comes to games because VR's true potential isn't with video games, it's with other types of experiences. And I truly believe that the reason all of these tech companies are spending billions of dollars investing in VR right now is because they see the future, and the future includes video games, but it's not defined by video games.
Yeah, I agree.
What she said.
That's it. Yep.
But Skyrim.
Real quick.
Do you have some additional thoughts?
Well, no, this is more about VR and maybe the future of games like Doom in VR. I just saw something in the MGM. I got a press release. I think it's the MGM Grand is opening up its first VR shooter arena.
Oh.
Okay.
So that's
Oh.
interesting.
A VR shooter arena.
Yeah. So it's
How does that
an
work?
arena, and you wear VR headsets, and then you kind of like get to like go around and like shoot things.
So it's
but
like
And it's just like a shooting
paintball, but
thing.
without other people.
you play with other people.
Oh.
But anyway, so I was thinking like, because I personally am a fan of VR, but I agree. I think it hasn't found its sweet spot yet, and so maybe something like that. Maybe we can build a What's Good Games shooter arena.
There's a
Yeah, or we could go to Vegas and try
I was about to
theirs.
say, can we just go?
or you can go to Tokyo and go to the VR arcade
What?
in Odaiba.
Oh, I heard about this.
Bandai Namco has a VR arcade, and they have a bunch of different games where you can like pilot a Gundam and fight another person in a Gundam, and they literally strap you into a seat and you like pilot a Gundam. There's one where you my favorite is called Trainmeister. It's very chill. You drive a train. That's it. And you just
That's
stop
it?
the train. It's called Trainmeister. And you just stop the train in time so the passengers can get on. That's it. It's very chill, real chill. There's one where you have to walk out onto a board above a skyscraper to save a
Nope.
cat that's sitting on the end.
Cat's gonna die. I'm sorry.
And it's
I
like
can't do
over a city, so
No,
you're like
Steimer.
you're thousands of feet above the
Terrifying.
city, and there's a cat meowing at the end of the
Can't.
end of the thing that you have to go and you have
Here's
to get it.
some tuna.
And they put the headset on you, and you have to walk out on this
morbid.
board, and like the board like wobbles, and it's like really scary
Nope.
and really
You might- yeah, see,
disorienting.
that's the problem.
You're
You-
saying that we need to
There's
go
a
to
shooter
Japan.
one. There's a scary one where you're in a
save a cat.
wheelchair in an abandoned hospital and you have to fight zombies. That's really up your alley.
We're all
But
gonna
will we
go
get pink eye?
to Tokyo.
No,
I'm
they
gonna
wipe
go
them
eat
down.
ramen.
They wipe down all of them.
You guys can do this while I eat
We'll
ramen.
go to the VR
Okay.
arcade. I'll play some relaxing Trainmeister. You guys
Okay.
can do
I
everything.
will be
Perfect.
eating.
All right, we have to move on.
Okay.
News has gotten long.
Trainmeister.
Microsoft held a press conference at Gamescom this week. We're going to talk about some of what they said, but the most important thing that they announced. Yeah, I don't know what that noise is, Britt. Jurassic Park Evolution has been revealed. It puts players in charge of the cinema's greatest tourist destination, where they will have the opportunity to create and manage their own Jurassic World. Launching in summer 2018, Jurassic World Evolution will be coming to the PS4, the Xbox One, and PC. It evolves players' relationships with the film franchise, placing them in control of operations on the legendary island of Isla Nublar and the surrounding islands of the Moretes Archipelago. Archipelago. That's a word I should know how to say. Players will build their own Jurassic World as they bioengineer new dinosaur breeds and construct attractions, containment, research facilities. Every choice leads to a different path and spectacular challenge arise.
I want some
life
raptor
finds a
friends.
way.
Why hasn't this been done sooner? This is such a brilliant idea.
Raptor
So of
friends.
course, it's scheduled to release next summer when Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom will be in theaters in June 2018. So this is from the folks who do...
I think it's Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Roller Coaster
They
Tycoon.
did Elite
Tycoon.
Dangerous.
Let me see.
I have raptor hands. I'm ready.
These folks are familiar in the art of making, what are they called? Sims.
Sims. Amusement park
This
sims.
is basically like, Park Sim.
The
Park
tycoons.
Sims.
I am so excited.
I
about
can't.
this.
I can't wait. I don't like the amusement park sims, but there's dinosaurs now. So
what I'm really excited
hell
about,
yeah.
and what I'm curious to know is, what is the AI of a human character is going to be? Because I would
They're gonna
love.
be dumb.
I don't give a fuck about those humans. I want those dinosaurs.
No, because I want to come up with clever ways to kill them via dinosaurs.
Clever girl.
Raptors and T-Rexes
I mean-
and Brontosauruses.
So the
don't think
name
you'll
of
need to be
the
that
development company is Frontier, and
Okay.
they have done Planet Coaster,
Oh.
Scream Ride, and of course Zoo Tycoon, which was
Ah.
the launch title for the Xbox One with Kinect.
I remember
I
that.
actually have that game. It was one of my favorite
It's a good game.
Kinect
Yeah,
games.
it's a good game.
Yeah, it's really cute.
There's a tycoon
Oh my
in
God,
there
I
somewhere.
can't wait.
So I'm personally excited because I just want to make like a death park. Like I want to make it so
Wow.
like happy looking, where there's like little like balloon animal T-Rexes and shit, and like all the kids are, oh mom, I'm so excited to go, and they go in there, and then you shut the gate and you just unleash. Oh, mayhem. Unleash mayhem. Yeah. I mean, are you like legitimately excited about just like raising dinosaurs, or do you want to
Yeah.
kill everyone?
I'm legitimately excited about having. So I haven't played like a simulator game like this in a long time, and I've just never like this. This gets me excited about it again.
I just
When
wanna
we
kill
watched
people.
that trailer together, I was like, oh, "This is like SimCity with dinosaurs! Hell yeah!" Like
Yeah.
I was like really excited.
Raise the dinos. I have a great affinity for the velociraptors, so I am really excited to have like, instead of herds of cows, like herds of velociraptors.
Are you gonna breed them?
I want
Do
the
you
Yeah.
fan
want
one.
herds of velociraptors?
Yeah,
though?
man, raptor herds.
we're
Nobody
God.
cares about the
Raptor
fan
herd
dinosaurs.
2018.
The dragon guy.
What was the dragon guy?
I don't
That,
remember his name.
what was his name?
Somebody who's
At least he got
listening
dragons,
or
I got
watching the show, let
raptors.
us know the dragon that spits in the face of the guy.
And kills the villain.
Yeah.
That was a good moment.
It's not the Leopleurodon, is it? That's made up, isn't it?
Leopleurodon's made up.
I don't
That's
know.
from
That's made up,
Charlie.
right? Yeah, okay. That's where it came from.
So this game is coming. So Microsoft also announced a bunch of other
Dad.
stuff at their press conference. But I publicly on Twitter
Ooh.
expressed my disappointment
Ooh.
You did.
Girl,
in
tell us.
how their press conference at Gamescom really felt like the definitive edition of their E3 press conference.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
So,
So
like
like
everything they announced at E3 and just a little bit extra.
It's like a 1.5 or 1.25.
I would say probably 1.25.
Oh,
Microsoft
damn.
E3 press conference 1.5 HD remix.
So yes,
Yeah.
Take it away.
Final chapter prologue.
That's right. That's a good one.
So okay, here's the thing. So they announced a couple of things. Pre-orders went live for the Xbox One X. They announced a special Project Scorpio edition, which promptly sold out. But
Yeah.
from what I've seen recently, it appears that the stock of certain retailers is fluctuating. So if you are really interested in getting the Project Scorpio edition of the Xbox One X, then I would urge you to continue checking back. However, did any of you ladies pre-order an Xbox One X?
No.
No, they delayed Crackdown. F you.
Wow.
No, that's a fair
Wow,
criticism.
Wow.
I think that absolutely is fair, and I think a lot of people who were excited about Crackdown got pissed off about that. They really don't have a big launch title outside of Forza
They have no games coming out this fall.
coming when that console launches.
They have no games coming
They
out
did
this fall.
announce during their press conference that they will have more than 100 titles confirmed to support the Xbox One X,
Yeah, but those are
including
old.
titles that are enhanced for Xbox One X, which includes supporting 4K resolution, high dynamic range or HDR color, and other Xbox One enhanced visual upgrades. So some of these titles include games that have already been released, but it also include games that are coming like Anthem, like Assassin's Creed Origin,
Yeah, but Anthem's not coming out this fall.
I was
Crackdown
about to
3,
say, Anthem's not going to be out for
Darksiders
a while.
3. So games that have been
Neither is
released: Dead
Darksiders
Rising
3.
4, Dishonored 2,
They have Fallout,
Fallout
4 on
4,
here. Are you
Fable
joking?
Fortune, Final
Everyone
Fantasy
has Fallout
15,
4.
Gears
Fallout
of War 4, Forza,
Is Skyrim
Halo
on there?
5 Guardians.
Whatever.
Yeah, so
Seriously, is
the
Skyrim on
thing that I got really upset about
Is
was,
Skyrim
like,
on there?
is Skyrim on here.
Oh my
Let's
god,
see.
it better not be on there.
Let me
I'm gonna
scroll
laugh
down to the
so
S's.
hard.
Hold on. No.
Or would it be the
Okay,
Elder
it
Scrolls?
is
Elder
not.
Scrolls?
Skyrim.
It would be the Skyrim Definitive Edition.
Down.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, and it's
yeah,
still
so
on
it's
there.
a special edition. Yeah,
Skyrim.
The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition will get enhanced. for
Skyrim is the
Xbox One
hoe
X.
of games right now.
Everybody.
Or is that Final Fantasy 15?
Oh my gosh.
No,
that
it's
might be the quote of the
Skyrim right
show.
now.
And we're only in the first segment. Listen, I was disappointed because I want Xbox to have a win. As somebody who loved my 360, who spent thousands of hours and played hundreds of games and spent so much money on that generation and just completely ignored PS3. I was like, whatever, I'll play Uncharted and that's it.
Girl.
I really want them to have a win here. And I just was so bummed when this was what they brought to Gamescom. After, I mean, a relatively disappointing showing from Project Scorpio at E3. Do they have games? Yes. Do they have upgrades for existing games? Yes. Do they have great entertainment options? Yes.
Do they have new
Is it enough to
games?
justify a $500 price tag when they are offering the Xbox One S for half the price with a lot of those same features?
Nay.
No.
Right?
Nay, I say. And
I mean,
generally,
yeah.
I'm one who will buy consoles. You know, I'm like, I just like to do it. I got the PS4 Pro, no problem. But with this, I'm like, I can't justify it because I don't have a 4K TV, and that's, you know, not make or break, but it's a pretty big deal. But I can't justify spending that much on a console that's not going to really give me anything that I'm like super. I was going to make it really, really gross. Never mind. I'm just not very excited about it.
Go
no,
on.
no,
You
I'll
committed.
stop.
Keep going.
We're listening.
You can't get halfway there and stop.
But no, I'm right there with you. I
Man,
mean,
it's just not pleasant.
I was a Xbox 360.
Steimer. That,
I was an Xbox 360 player as well. Not completely, but mostly ignored my PS3. And it's funny how the tables have turned.
No, same.
Yeah.
I was the same thing. 360 played all the time. PlayStation would only play for the actual exclusives that didn't go on any other console. And now I'm completely flipped and I barely play my Xbox and it makes me really sad.
Where's Halo?
see, I was a PlayStation 3 girl because that's where all the Japanese games
Well,
were.
I mean, we knew that.
That's what I
but-
was. I
but
have a
it's-
brand.
It was disappointing. I mean, and the fact that they kind of had the balls to put out a brand new trailer for the Recore Definitive Edition was kind of like a big
Wait,
like,
what?
Recore was the
Oh, I
most
heard about this.
mediocre game.
Record was kind of poopy. I'm just going to say
They
that.
gave a lengthy gameplay trailer for it during their conference.
Now, in
Did
this,
they make the game less brown?
Yes.
in this trailer, didn't they also announce new features and new areas and some other tweaks?
Yeah, so one of the criticisms was that the dev team that originally published this game didn't have all of the features and all of the polish that they wanted when it launched. Thus, the lackluster, praise for the game, more criticism. And now they've had time, much like, Hello Games and No Man's Sky had time to actually put the features in that they wanted and get the game to the final product that they wanted. But I feel like developers need to know by now, moreover, publishers and platform holders need to know by now, hey, maybe don't publish the game if it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Especially with new IPs, because it's like you have one shot to make
Yes.
that impression, right? Now, if like Recore 2 was announced, most people probably like,
Didn't
Whatever,
really like
yo.
the first one.
right. When Recore, I feel like had a lot of potential. Again, this kind of goes back to our Mass Effect discussion, but You know,
That's
But it's
yeah,
hard.
it
But
was
I agree with you.
disappointing.
It's 10 times harder with something like Recore, which has had nothing come before it.
Yeah.
Mass Effect's a little easier because people still have such fond memories of like the first few games that can overcome a quote unquote dud in the series. But Recore, and especially with this definitive, I'm like, I wanted to like this game and I played it for a while. I'm not playing that version. You
Right.
had your chance and you did not impress me.
So Andrea, you were obviously very disappointed by this. What would make you very happy? Like, what were like 2 or 3 things that would have made you feel like, yay, this is good, this is exciting?
You mean announcements for Xbox?
Yeah, announcements from the Gamescom press conference.
I would have been excited if they had announced exclusive partner content for an upcoming game. I think that would have been a win if they came out and said, hey, we've been promoting Assassin's Creed Origin on stage now a couple of times. You can get all of these exclusive missions on Xbox.
But does Microsoft know what exclusive means? Because they're really pushing it.
Yeah,
now.
so there was a bunch of criticism this week about PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds
Yeah,
on Xbox
yeah.
One being a console launch exclusive and the language surrounding what does that mean. So there were a bunch of interviews done with both Xbox and Bluehole, the publisher of the game, about, well, what is it only coming to Xbox One? Will it be coming to PlayStation 4? And they wouldn't give a definitive answer, which was frustrating because they have a definitive answer. And the reason they wouldn't is because they don't want to talk about the other platforms. Why would they want to? Why would they want to talk about their competition? So I get it, but for gamers out there who are looking to make a purchasing decision, who want to know, am I going to be able to buy this? You know, Xbox's prerogative is to say you must buy an Xbox One in order to play PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds on console. That's their prerogative. So that's the only thing they're going to message. But I think the reality has to be, if Bluehole wants to maximize their audience exposure, which they do, they want to make money, they're going to have to publish on PlayStation eventually. When that happens,
Right.
I don't know. I think the important thing to remember here is this game is still in early access. When it's going to be published on Xbox One late 2017, it's going to go into Games Preview, which is the early access for Xbox One. And so this game will have plenty of time to come to PlayStation later. But what they aren't saying is that they probably got money from Xbox to publish exclusively
They
on
absolutely
Xbox One.
did.
But it's not exclusive if it's coming to other platforms. Like, haven't they like
It's
alluded
exclusive
to it?
for a period of time.
Timed
time.
exclusive.
Just
this
like
is like-
Rise of the Tomb Raider was exclusive for a period of time, and then it came to PC and,
And the
then
Rise
came
of
to
the
PS4.
in the Rise of the Tomb Raider messaging was a total mess. Like,
Yeah, it was a shit show.
Microsoft. Like, I just think Microsoft is like bending what the word exclusive means, and it's confusing to consumers. and
That's
it's unfair.
Right.
But it's laughable and awful now, and we all see what you're doing,
I-
and it's just like, come on.
I can't imagine that timed exclusive is going to be a thing that publishers are going to be able to use for much longer, because it's so blatantly obvious that you just become kind of a laughing stock. I think the honest and true approach would be like, hey, it's a timed exclusive for a year, but look at all this amazing content you can get
Right.
right now if you buy our console. But will they go that route? I think eventually they will.
Say
I don't
first
know
on Xbox. That's a truth.
I think
Exclusive on Xbox.
the thing that they're going to run into more is that being a timed exclusive on Xbox is going to be more expensive because PlayStation right now is winning. That's just
Yeah.
kind of the way it is. And so it's very like you were just talking about, Andrea, that's an expense. Like, because you aren't putting your game on another platform, you are losing out on a bunch of money. So I just think
Right.
eventually they won't be able to keep paying for that because like
Yeah.
you have to make it worth their while to not publish on this other platform, and I just don't know that that's sustainable.
Yeah. Only time will tell
Dun,
if these
dun,
guys will
dun.
get their act together. Xbox. I want you to win. I really do.
I would just
Get it
like you
together.
to stop losing.
I would like you to just tell me what you mean.
Tell me what you mean.
Just tell me what you mean. Be
Okay.
honest
Tell me what
with
you
We
me.
want.
have
What you
one
really,
more
really
news
want.
item that we have to talk about, and then we have to end this segment because it's real long.
Do we?
Yeah.
The SNES Classic Edition
No, I don't talk about this. It hurts.
went live with pre-orders this week. Nintendo promised late August. The first people that kicked it off was Best Buy, and then Amazon followed, and then Target and GameStop both opened. And
In the middle of the fucking night.
yes, so it was, what was it?
Sorry.
Tuesday night? No.
It was Monday night.
It was Monday
Monday night at 10:30 p.m. Pacific time is when Best Buy opened their pre-orders. Well, it was roughly 10. It was basically a little after midnight Central Time where Best Buy's headquarters are.
How rude.
Very rude.
Rude.
I'm thankful.
All
It's
of
rude,
you.
but I'm thankful.
I
mean-
didn't get in on the Best Buy orders. Brittany got some, but I got in because I was up playing Zelda Shrines, which we'll talk about in the next segment. 2 a.m. Pacific time, Amazon put their pre-orders live, and I snagged some. And then, of course, over the next 24 to 48 hours, both Target and GameStop
And
put
Walmart.
it up.
Sorry,
GameStop,
I'm, like, on your butt. I love
surprisingly,
it.
decided to bundle their SNES Classic editions, which, I have to hand
With
it to
what,
them.
Andrea? With what?
With swag, Brittany.
Mhm.
Swag like this.
Yeah.
So
My
if
new
you're watching,
backpack.
If you're watching the video, I
You
just
better
handed
wear that
her.
around PAX.
Oh, I'm wearing this
Excuse
around
me, if you're
PAX.
not watching the video, I just handed her a
Sorry.
Zelda backpack. So I
It's
bought
great.
an NES Classic Edition, and the only way that I got it was because ThinkGeek was doing these bundles with all this other cool stuff they have. So, listen, I get it. You want to just buy the thing, you don't want to buy the other things. But the things that they do package it with aren't garbage. They're cool
They're not.
stuff.
They're expensive, but
You know what is garbage though?
What?
This frickin' pre-order release model. Like,
I mean-
I just think that's so unfair. Like, beyond unfair.
What's
Especially
unfair
if you live
about
on
it?
the East Coast.
I
you're
don't-
asleep.
Right. If you're 2 a.m., 5 a.m. East Coast, there are people out there. I have no skin on the game because I'll probably get one anyway. But like, there are people out there that are collectors, that are diehard Nintendo fans, that are Brittany's grandma, that maybe aren't like on the internet 24 hours a day or stay up until 2 a.m. that are saying, hey, this is a thing I would like to get. Pre-orders open on this day. I'm going to make sure that my computer's open on this day so I can get the thing or get a chance to get the thing. The way that this was released, it didn't give any of those people a chance to get the thing. And the people that say, oh, I guess you're not diehard enough because you weren't prepared, that's fucking bullshit because it was 2 a.m. It was the
Those
middle of
people
the
are
night. It was
stupid.
staggered.
Nobody should
Those
say you're
people
not
are stupid.
prepared enough.
I've
Like,
seen,
you can't be
I've seen that.
prepared.
I've seen it on Twitter. People being like, well, I guess like you didn't want it bad enough. No, all of us have lives and we have things going on. I feel like the release of this is just unfair. It is stupid. It is worse than the NES Classic edition. I don't necessarily think it is Nintendo's fault. There
it is
has to be
100% Nintendo's
well,
fault.
maybe like 95.5 because obviously they have to work with the distributors to be like, okay, this is when your pre-orders will go live. This is when your servers and your website is prepared to handle the influx of traffic. So it's everyone working together. And whoever thought that it was, some bright idea, oh yeah, let's just have it go up randomly in the middle of the night with no warning, late August. It is late August, but it could also be called mid-August depending on when you're like looking at it.
And that
agree.
was
That's
one of your.
not
Yeah.
fair.
Technically, like, August 21st is not late August.
It's like
That's
mid-August. And I feel bad for the people, like, we have a lot of friends that collect this stuff. And, like, the people out there that are diehard Nintendo fans that have big collections or just want to have this thing to, like, play these old games. The people that aren't, again, on the internet at all hours of the night. I just think it's totally unfair and it's ridiculous and it's stupid and, like, fucking stop. Just stop.
Rant
Yeah.
over.
Rant over. Stop doing it. It's stupid.
Yeah, it was.
What else is there to say, really?
The
I
only
think that's
reason
the-
I was
Stupid.
able to snag one is because I went down to Oregon, Lincoln City, Oregon, to watch the eclipse. And I drove 10 hours back home in a drive that should have taken me 3.5 hours. Took me 10 hours, and it was very brutal.
Yikes.
But anyway, I got home, and I checked our What's Good Games Twitter account, and someone had tweeted at
Yeah.
us within minutes. And they said, hey, Best Buy pre-orders are live. Go, go, go. And I was like, holy crap. And so I ran my little butt over and I sat down and I pre-ordered 3 of them and only 2 of them went through. One of them is obviously going to my grandma. And then the other one I want to give to my aunt because she's like, and then finally I had a fan. No, I didn't have a fan. There was a fan of the show who hit me up and was like, hey, I got you one. So I think I'm covered. But
Excellent.
just, and all next day I was online too, just trying to see like, okay, like what, and I couldn't even snag one even though I was online the whole next day because I wanted to get one for my dad. But it was a clusterfuck. It was an absolute clusterfuck.
I dedicate my rant to people like to your grandma and people like your grandma who just can't, like, I think it's this happened once already and it's happening again. I think it's stupid. This is not how you ingratiate fans, especially with the shortages of the Nintendo Switch. What are you doing? What What are you doing?
That's like the question,
I'm
right?
so
I think a lot
baffled.
of us in the industry and you guys out there listening and watching have asked yourself, what is Nintendo's thought here? What is going on in their heads? What is their strategy? Why wouldn't they just make enough of it to make sure that everybody who wanted one could get one? And, there's a lot of theories out there.
Why?
Or at least be like, pre-orders are going up at this day, at this time.
Like concert ticket
Prepare
sales,
your
right?
butts.
So right. So Toys R Us, for example, they aren't doing online pre-orders. So Toys R Us has said if you come to our store on September 29th, that is when you'll be able to get one. So it's going to be like a console launch. People are going to be lining up for hours and hours and hours to get this.
No.
Yeah, it
So I was
just
like, do not care.
do not
Don't
care.
want. No,
And
it's just the idea of like, I don't know. lining up
Nintendo
someone.
has said that they plan to continue production past this initial shenaniganry. So hopefully it
hope
won't be.
so.
I think it'll be easier to get one than it would be to get an NES Classic, but I don't think it'll be easy enough. And as far as why are they doing this? I mean, I have my thoughts, but
I'm tired of this
we don't have
circus.
another 20 minutes to go
No,
into that.
we don't.
Yeah,
Too old
we
for
don't.
this shit.
But we could go on and rant about this forever, but I do want to talk about a little bit of news. So they did release a brand new trailer this week that show off some of the new features.
Who cares? Half of us aren't going to get it. Whatever.
More than half.
More than half.
For the people who did manage to snag a
cock
pre-order,
tease.
there will be
job.
several new features, including a rewind feature that lets you rewind in play. So each of your games are going to get 4 save slots,
That's
which can be
cheating.
rearranged or even locked to make sure no one erases your hard work. This is according to a Polygon story. Games can be saved at any time, although the built-in save points from the classic games have been maintained as well. And the save slots also record at least a minute of footage so you can mess up, save, and then rewind to the point when things were looking peachy.
But the save point, the rewind feature only works if you actually have the SNES Classic Edition, so whatever.
This is true. There's also suspend points where you can play a game, suspend the game you're playing, choose a different game, suspend that game, and then if you want to go back to the first game, you pick up right where you left off, which is cool. And then there's selectable borders that will frame, because as you know, all of these are in 4:3 from the old TV days. There's no 16:9, so they'll give you little borders that you can choose from. So
I would like to suspend this game of bad pre-order practices. Is what I would like to suspend.
listen, we're all in agreement. Nintendo is fucking this up. They could be doing better.
Hey,
Like, even just say, like, hey, guys, like, they're so aware of the snafu that's happening. Just, like, put out a tweet and say, we understand and we will fix this. There will be buttloads of more units coming soon. Don't sweat it.
or just
they
give us
can't
like a
promise
date.
that.
Just give us
Yeah,
a date.
I don't
Just
think
give us
that-
a date. Be like, hey, pre-orders are going to open on this day, and
Exactly.
here you can go do it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Boat
That's
sale
why
on
it's
that.
shady. That's why
Nobody-
I love you, Nintendo, but it's shady.
Nobody likes a surprise here
At
when it
2
comes
in the
to
morning.
pre-orders. Nobody likes the
No
2
one
in the
likes-
morning pre-order surprise. Nobody likes the pre-order.
And on that note,
The pre-order
oh my
surprise.
Gosh.
Oh my
now
God, Andrew's
we
gonna
have
kill
to
me as soon
end
as
this
segment ends.
segment.
Shit.
It's been too long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging with us. Whenever there's a big conference like Gamescom, we have a little bit of extra news, and we appreciate your patience. When we come back at the next segment, we will be talking about what we've been playing. So stay with us. We will be right back. This episode of the What's Good Games podcast is brought to you by TakeThis.org. Hey, listen. Everyone struggles to feel good sometimes. Feeling depressed after a breakup or anxious about a job interview is part of life. And for some people, those feelings never really go away, or they get worse over time. If that sounds like you or someone you know, you're not alone. And there's help. At TakeThis.org, our friends at Take This have collected advice and articles from mental health workers and other people who've been there. From advice on how to find a therapist to when to know it's time to get help. TakeThis.org is a treasure trove of information about your brain and what to do when it hurts. Take This has been working to bring the mental health care community and the video game community together since 2012. If you or someone you love could use some perspective, visit them at takethis.org. And if you have the resources to donate or volunteer, takethis.org is where you do that too. It's dangerous to go alone. Take This. Welcome back, everybody. This is segment 2 of What's Good Games, and we are talking about what we've been playing. That's right, our hands-on impressions, and I gotta be honest, I haven't played anything new. But but
But you played something with
I
a
played
good
some
butt
stuff.
in it.
We'll talk about it. What, Alexa? You grabbing somebody's
You
butt?
said butts.
butts.
I
We,
did.
we've been making these butt grabbing
Butt
motions.
hands?
We've been
Okay.
doing this for like the past 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Britt, I see here on our show notes that you have been playing Corpse Party.
Oh my God.
I'm so
Britt,
happy, Alexa.
Let's
you know
talk about it. So, okay, let me, before you go into your hands-on, my first experience with a Corpse Party game was when I was working for GameStop, and I had to read a piece. I had to write a little piece and read it about this new Corpse Party game, and I was like, Corpse Party 3DS. I was like, what is this game? I don't know what this game is. So I'm like looking it up, and I'm like, oh shit, what is this creepy game?
Yeah.
What the fuck is? Wait, what?
Japan!
What's happening in this game? We should not be talking about this in front of children. This is bad.
So I
Welcome.
knew absolutely nothing about Corpse Party.
I can't
Life is very busy right now. I love it. It's extremely busy. If I'm going to play any video games, it's going to be on a mobile device. So I have my trusty Zelda 3DS, and I was scrolling through Nintendo's eShop library, and I was like, this looks interesting. It looks kind of creepy. I'm a fan of reading Reddit No Sleep before I go to bed. I like being spooked. So I thought, hey, this looks like right up my alley. It's probably one of the weirdest video games I've ever played. I'm not quite sure how to describe it.
Which one is it?
I don't know. It just said Corpse Party, and I downloaded it.
Corpse Party is a game.
But how would you describe it? So you
Thank you, Alexa.
So Corpse Party.
We were not sure.
It is a survival horror adventure.
It's a visual
and
novel.
Dojin soft video game
Dojin, yeah, it's a visual
series
novel.
originally created by Makoto Kerwin. Maybe.
It is very
Team
if I see
Gris.
different kinds of few. The Corpse Party is the Corpse Party. It's a series of visual novels with some light adventuring, like dungeoneering, adventuring in between segments, and it is typically about young people getting and ghosts and people getting knocked off in really
I hope you were
weird
going to say knocked
sexual bloody ways depending on
Yeah.
the story. The thing that stands out the most about Corpse Party is I played the first one. So they're obviously they're made in Japan and they've been localized for America, and the first one came out a little bit after it came out in Japan. I just remember two characters having a conversation where the plot of the mission was, oh, can you go into my locker and get my butt chafing cream?
Oh yeah.
And
no.
then she's like, you gotta butter your pooper because
No, it happened.
because it feels
No.
better. Yeah, no, that's the thing.
No, this is a true thing that happened. So this takes place in the very first chapter. There are 5 chapters in this game. I want to say there's 5. And then there's a section for extras. So rewinding just a bit, it's a party of 9, including 1 teacher, high school students.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in your homeroom, and it's after hours, and you are part of the culture club, I think is what it's called or something. And you are performing
a good band.
seances, and you're trying
summoning
to
ghosts.
and you say like a ritual because one of your good friends is leaving, transferring to a new school. So you're like, hey, let's all take this paper doll and tear off
summon
a
some
piece of
ghosts.
this doll and do something with it, and then we'll all have a piece of this doll and we'll all be connected. Anyway, shit goes down, and all these kids
Don't do it.
Shit goes down is like a really light way of saying it.
And these
Shit goes down.
These 9 people are transported to an alternate reality, an alternate dimension, and to a school that existed 30 years prior, that is shaped and formed by the twisted thoughts and agony of dead middle school students or
Yep.
elementary school students.
Yep.
Wait, like they died when they were in middle school?
In elementary
Yep,
school,
they
they
died when they were in
died.
elementary school.
And they were brutally murdered, and so
Yep.
now they've concocted
Lot of
this
blood.
Heavenly Hills or something. It's called
Really
elementary
weird.
school. It's crazy.
Wait, so elementary school aged
Ghosts.
children were brutally murdered.
Ghosts.
Do
Brutally
we know
murdered.
how they were murdered?
by ghosts.
one of their heads is missing.
Ghosts.
Okay,
One of them
so
is
severed
missing
head
an
would be
eye.
bad.
So
Severed head. There's a little stump there. One of the eyeballs is missing. And then what they would do is that the children would be killed by removal of the tongue, and then they would suffocate to death on blood or choke to death
Gross.
on blood. It's bad.
They drown in.
And so
yeah.
now, remember, I knew nothing about this game going into it, but I can't put it down. And so how it works is that, I just started chapter 3. And so in chapter 1, you are playing as a girl and her friend, and you're trying to find everyone. And you go around, and there are many different ways to die. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say Life is
like
Strange.
The Sims, where you can kill them in
Kind of,
multiple
but
ways.
it's a visual novel. So if you're playing and there's save points, and if you die incorrectly in a way that won't progress the story forward, you'll get an end screen that says wrong end.
It's like a snuff game.
You can die incorrectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's wrong ways to die, which means the game will end incorrectly. And in order to proceed the game forward, you have to make the right decisions. And the game's very open with how many ways you can die incorrectly. So in the first chapter, there's 4 ways you can croak, and 1 way you can do it correctly. I think that's what it is. Anyway, very weird, very interesting. It's all the language is in Japanese, and so it's very like kind of.
So there's
Are you
reading
Japanese?
subtitles and getting Japanese
Yes.
dialogue?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's great, actually. I really enjoy it. I'm digging it. It's weird and it's creepy. And one of my friends just got turned into a bunch of like gore, and it's sad, but it's very interesting.
Did you ever play Fatal Frame?
No, because it was too scary for me back in the day. But
Wait, is there such a thing as too scary for the blonde nerd?
well, I didn't drink whiskey back then.
So you might want to. I'd be curious when you are done with Corpse Party, boot up your Wii U and download the Fatal Frame for Wii U.
I'd love to.
Corpse Party is very much like Fatal Frame in that it's like kind of like smutty and snuffy and really just like creepy and very strange and weird, and nothing really makes
So it's like
any
B
sense.
horror films, but
Yeah.
with elementary school
Kinda.
students in
And
TV form.
If you watch Japanese horror,
I was just gonna say I love Japanese horror, like The Ring, The Grudge. There's
Yeah.
one called like The Eye, and I love
The
like the black
Audition?
stringy hair and the gross I love it. So this game very much ties in with that. So it's right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Okay.
strange, but that is what I have been playing.
Okay. I've been playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I should have been playing Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
Zelda's kind of like.
But by the
Uncharted.
time we got our codes and we had to tape the podcast, we just didn't get enough time with it. So a lot of you are probably wondering, why aren't they talking about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy?
I'm going to talk about it.
Yes, I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about it because I played a little bit.
Spoiler free, of course.
Yes. But so I traveled. I went back home to Fargo, as we talked about on the podcast
Where'd you
last
go?
week. Fargo.
Yes.
Did
How
you have
many
bagel bites?
Did
you
you
know,
have?
I was gonna bring some bagel bites back for everybody to try, and then I forgot. You know, you're darn tootin'. It's my own fault. I'm sorry.
Do people Do people really say darn tootin'? Just real quick.
No, nobody says
Okay.
that.
I love Fargo. I love Fargo.
That's the
Andrea.
thing that cinema made.
Right.
Okay. So I played Zelda, and I'm now to a point where I'm actually lured back to the game. And there was a long period of time where I just was not interested in continuing to play Zelda because there was other things that were more intriguing. But now I think I'm powerful enough where I don't feel like I'm eating potions and shit every like 2 minutes
Okay.
to be like, oh my gosh, I need more hearts. And I'm kind of on the fence about it still. I am enjoying the exploration. So I was talking to Britt and I said, I finally got to the Shrouded Ruins, which is like, you know, like a big thing. Every Zelda game has one, right? Like the ruins in the darkness. Is
Oh, well, I mean, there's always something similar to that. I don't know if it's all called the Shrouded Ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but basically like a area where you go in and it's like dark and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And so I found this like little island place. I mean, I got into the Lost Forest and then I was like,
Did you make it to the Korok Forest?
no. So I got to
Oh.
the Lost Forest and I started following the fire things like you're supposed to. And then I got to a point where I couldn't see any more fire things and I kept picking different directions to wander off into and they kept putting me back.
You have to hold a torch.
Bring a torch.
No, I had a torch.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I had a torch and then I would wander around with my torch and then would keep teleporting me back.
You're not following the right direction.
You have to
then.
follow the if you hold if you stand still and hold it, the wind will blow your fire in one direction. Go in that direction.
Oh.
Not the opposite direction.
Yeah,
that
go in the direction that
Go
the
in the
wind
direction
is
the
blowing.
fire blows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now that I know this, I will go back and check it out. But I got frustrated and was like, fuck this stupid forest. And I left.
Those Koroks, man, really know how to make a home security system.
They kept...
They got it. Considering like 900 of them like are just like fucking got lost all over the world. They really know how to protect the homeland.
Okay.
What?
I didn't realize that was like the Korok homeland.
You get in there and it's like rainbows and sunshine and Giant Broccoli Man is there.
If I ever
Oh, I
get-
like Giant Broccoli. I love his little dance.
Giant Broccoli Man is there hanging out with you and you can climb the tree and go into the tree and
Okay.
people give
I
you
saw that
things.
there was a big tree in the middle, but I can't figure out how to
It's
get there.
Tess.
So I'll go back. But
It's
anyway, my journey around there, because there's like nothing around there, by the way. Like you like you run around and there's like shit to see.
Yeah.
There's nothing to get. I was like, this is why I hate Zelda. I'm running around here doing shit, nothing, and there's not even grass to cut. What the fuck?
The Lost
So,
was not
you
so
don't
cool as it
hate
used to be.
Zelda.
I don't hate it. You're right. I just am like, why am I doing this? And then
I
I keep
understand.
playing it. I'm like, what is it?
That's the
What is this
grasp.
crack that I'm
That's the
smoking?
grasp.
So I get to the shredded rune and it's dark and like, thank God I have 2 torches in my inventory.
Nice.
I have spent all my Korok seeds expanding my weapon slots. So I get there and I walk around the whole shredded runes probably once before I realize you can like light the fucking torches inside. And I finally light one and I'm like, oh, whoops.
Oh, baby girl.
I felt so stupid, but this is one of the things that people love about Zelda, right? They're
Right.
like, "Oh yeah, you discover all this on your own," and I was like, "But they should have told me." And they're like, "That's not the point of the game. You're supposed to figure it out."
Yeah, I mean, lighting torches has been in all of the Zelda games, so it's just interesting. I'm laughing at you, but it's cute.
Well, I didn't realize
Right.
the little
Yeah.
owl
Right.
guys on the ground with the beaks or whatever were supposed to be the things that I was supposed to light.
yeah.
But I figured it out eventually.
You did.
But I will say that was the first time I actually like fought a Hinnock.
The big guy with the eye,
Yeah.
the single eye.
So I've seen a bunch of them sleeping like around the world, but I'd never like fought one. And so there you get to a point where you have a confrontation with one in the dark. And then there's like a couple, torches that are lit or whatever, but I fought him in the dark and I defeated him and I felt so proud of myself. I was like,
You should
this
be
is the best. And that was when I was like, okay, I kind of get why people really love Zelda.
Okay.
See, and this is one complaint I have about Breath of the Wild is
You
I
only
don't-
have one.
well, I have a few, but the main one I have is that the dungeons, there's no temples, there's the shrines, I get it, but all the other Zelda games have these really fun, intricate, puzzle-driven dungeons and temples where you have those dark rooms and you have the enemies you need to fight in the darkness, and that's when I feel like Zelda's at its peak. In Breath of the Wild, you have the shrines, which are maybe 2 to 3 max rooms where you have to figure out puzzles. Great. But if I could add one thing to Breath of the Wild, it would be intricate dungeons, because
You didn't think that the divine beasts were intricate dungeons?
No, I'm not impressed by them at all, honestly.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I would love, because you haven't played Ocarina of Time, right?
Girl. No. I've played like 3 hours.
Okay.
So no.
So if you've played those games, even like freaking A Link to the Past had fun little dungeons and areas, and
I mean, I played A Link Between Worlds and there were plenty of dungeons in that game.
okay, so maybe like a more 3D-esque, like Ocarina of Time, even Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Skyward, those have like the dungeons, and that's the one thing that this game is missing that would make it perfect, because I think that's when it shines. And if you enjoyed like this little thing you experience with the Hinnocks in the dark room and the torches, I wish there was more of that I think would draw you in more than it has.
I
That's
will
all.
say, go ahead, Alexa.
No,
actually.
I was gonna go on Brittany's point about how like the divine beasts don't reach that same level of intricate. I feel like
No.
the divine beast dungeons cop out on being intricate by making them rotate, by giving all of them some sort of movement mechanic where it turns and everything gets turned around, and by doing that, that's how it is made complicated. But we were here a couple weeks ago, and was it Mary Kish who was saying that she beat the bird without having to turn it at all?
Right.
So like that moving mechanic is just made to add what feels like difficulty, but not actually making it too difficult. Like if you
Right.
go back and play a dungeon in Ocarina of Time, a dungeon in like I'm thinking of a couple in Majora's Mask that were like super duper intricate.
Yeah, and we don't have to go on this too much longer,
Right.
but like the thing is, you'd walk into this dungeon and there's dozens of rooms and you have free roam, and it's kind of like Metroidvania in this sense.
Yeah,
You're like,
you
okay,
just go.
you just go and you figure it out, and each room has its own puzzle. There are locked rooms you have to figure it, and that's one of the best parts of Zelda. And this game definitely lacks in that. The shrines are fun, but it's not like this big ultimate like collective piece.
The
They're
shrines are
bite-sized.
overwhelmingly easy so far from
Right.
what I've experienced. But I'm also at a point that I have no stake in figuring it out for myself. The moment I get stumped, I immediately go to the internet.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm just like, all right, how do I go through this room? Blah, 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 and I
Because
type
they're
it
just
out.
so like they're just
Yeah.
small and bite-sized. They're like the freaking mini muffins of Zelda dungeons. Why have some mini muffins when you can go eat a whole muffin? Like
Actually, I think I'd prefer mini muffins in that
really?
scenario.
Well, I mean,
I feel like we could have we should have a Zelda episode when I'm done. We can talk about things we're not proud of. But anyway,
Right,
Andrea,
yeah.
I want to continue to hear your thoughts on Breath of the Wild.
I realized that there's not enough checkpoints around the world as far as fast travel points, and that makes me
Yeah.
frustrated.
yeah,
I felt
so
that
that's
too.
a problem.
I I finally have boarded 2 horses now, but like you said, Britt, like using your horses throughout the world, you miss a lot of like the side content, but like there's just giant swaths of land where there is nothing to see. And that to me is like, this is one of my criticisms of Breath of the Wild early on that I'm going to reiterate now that I've played more hours of the game, is that what's the point of having the magic of being able to climb every mountain? Yes. I said a Sound of Music reference. To be able to go wherever to look somewhere in the distance and be able to walk there or run there or swim there, whatever, and get there. But if there's nothing fucking there, then what's the point?
Are
Well,
you sure
usually
there's
if you-
nothing there?
Usually there's like a Korok there because there's 900
Yeah.
fucking Koroks.
Yeah, but you don't need 900 Koroks to beat the game.
No, you don't. But they're
But
still
they
there.
put 'em
Yeah, but
in
they're
there.
just a
That
they're
didn't
just
stop
they're
them.
just a bullshit collectible item that I criticize a bunch of other open world games, Ubisoft, about.
Yeah.
Like that's just the thing. Like, what if I'm gonna run all the way over there just to get like some random collectible? Like that to me is not a big enough draw. And so I'm a little frustrated right now that I'm at a point in the game where I ran up into I'm going up into the the northwest section of the map, and I've run a really far way, and like I can't see a village. Like there are no shrines within view. Even my little like radar thing is like, nope, there's nothing up here. And I'm like, okay, well I can see a tower in the distance, but it's up this snowy mountain pass that I know I'm gonna need a bunch of fucking potions and shit to get up to, otherwise I'm gonna freeze to death. And I'm like, okay, well I have to go back to a village then to make sure that I can cook everything that I need to cook and whatever. I'm so far away.
Armor?
Well, I have the doublet, but I don't have the full armor set.
Gotta go get that warm shit.
I know, but I don't have enough rupees to buy everything that I need to buy. And so like my frustration is that I can see where I need to go, and I'm willing to go there on foot and do the exploration, but they've gated it now where they're like, you can't go here because you're going to be too cold and you don't have the armor, you don't have enough money. And I'm like, so is it the RPG mechanic working against me? But then when I go back to the areas where I can actually do stuff, then there's nothing left for me there to get, and I'm trying to find the middle ground, and the game just doesn't lead you. They give you these bullshit little side tasks to do, and the reward for these side tasks is nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I fucking banging my head against the wall, running out to get somebody something that's not going to give me a reward that's worthwhile?
Because you have to defeat Ganon, Andrea.
So
No,
what
this
is finding a horse on top of a hill? That's one of the side quests that I remember. They're like, go to this thing and find a white horse, and it's after I'd done a few side quests, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to get anything for this, am I?
Look,
not
Hyrule
gonna
has
do it.
been in deep shit for like 100 years.
Get your shit together,
Get your
Hyrule.
And
shit
now
together.
that you're back,
You
all
know
the
what?
horses need to be found.
You can get your
and
own
all the
horse.
mountains need to be climbed.
I've got to defeat Ganon.
and all
I've
the
got other
clothes
things
need to be
do.
bought.
And who are these random ninjas that are like, hi, are you lost? I'm going here. Oh, wait, you're Link. You must die.
Oh my god, I hate
I
those
got one of
ninjas.
those.
No, this is
I hate those ninjas. Did you beat the main
Yeah.
quest with the ninjas yet?
I don't even
No.
Because if
I've
you
got
beat
it
the main quest, more ninjas appear.
What?
Congratulations, even more ninjas are
Yeah,
Congratulations.
here.
certain
There's
areas.
more.
No, it's a totally fair criticism.
No,
and
it
I
is. It's
think
fair.
this is one of the reasons why, this game came out with the Switch, so that was in February. So we're looking
March.
was it March? Okay, so we're looking at 5 months now.
Wink.
And I have not finished this game. And that is like unheard of for me in a Zelda game. But I'm like you, Andrea. I have to be drawn to it, and there's nothing really propelling me or compelling me to play this game and finish the story. It's more like, hey, I honestly, Jason, my fiance, and I, we play it together. But we only play it when we're like in podunk towns. When we were watching the eclipse, we brought it because it just feels warm and cozy to play a Zelda game when we're away. But when we're home, we're like, hey, let's play XYZ or, something different that's more exciting and enticing.
Right.
It's definitely, I think Nintendo made really great strides with this game, but I feel like there are lots of things that need to be fixed.
I wish I could tell you that the main story is like totally worth pushing through, but as someone who just recently finally beat the main story
Even Britt right now is shaking her head.
and fought Ganon and beat Ganon and did the thing, fucking lame, man. Like the ending of that story compared to other Zelda games.
I'm
is
going to rewind this episode and bring this back up to you at the end of the year when we're talking about Game of the Year discussions, just to remind everybody about this conversation that happened right
And I
now.
tell you it's Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to put a pin in Zelda.
Pin.
Steimer.
Yeah, hi.
So I've played a smidgen of Uncharted Lost Legacy, but you've played more. Let's
Yes.
talk about it. So we've been waiting for this. Naughty Dog has been teasing this. They've called it a standalone game, but this is definitely a DLC expansion. So
Yeah.
tell me about your experience.
So if you've been living under a rock,
Many rocks.
Many
Many
rocks,
rocks.
yes.
A Korok
Last
even.
Legacy follows
There's a rupee
Chloe.
over there.
Yeah, there is a rupee. It's a $50 rupee. She's still making the rupee noise. Chloe from Uncharted 2, one of the buddies. This is now like
One of the buddies.
One of the buddies. That's what they call them. They're buddies and there are baddies.
Unbuddied.
Buddies and baddies. And then Nadine, who was actually one of the baddies in Uncharted 4, they are together in this game. 2 women leads.
Not
Yay.
one.
Not one,
Two.
but 2.
But
and 2
two.
women of color at that.
Yeah.
So far I'm really enjoying it because Chloe does have a lot of similar personality traits to Nathan Drake. She's sarcastic,
I like Chloe a lot. too.
competent. I'm going to use that word again.
There's no. She doesn't screw up and yell no many times over.
Oh my god, my
She
favorite.
does say no way too much though.
Really?
Does
Yes.
she? I haven't noticed that, and I've played for
All
4
I do
hours.
is notice it
no,
every time
no,
she
no.
does it, and I'm like, that's Nathan Drake's thing. Step off.
I haven't noticed,
No,
but
no,
I'm
no.
okay. She has.
Maybe it's later in the game that it happens more, but
Maybe.
Oh my god. It's like a supercut.
Just no. My favorite thing, not my favorite thing, but it is rather amusing when you fall and die, and then you hear like the other characters and how they react.
oh no, Frieza!
Yeah, exactly. And
Nadine's
I'm like,
accent always being like, Frieza, no!
yeah, you're
You're
like,
like, the screen goes
sorry,
black and white.
I'm dead.
Whoa.
I missed the jump. I'm real sorry.
'Cause she never really calls her Chloe. Every once in a while she does. But
So I've
then
heard the game
Frieza.
is beautiful.
The game is obviously beautiful.
The
Naughty
graphics
Dog
are
is
gorgeous,
well
yes.
known for crafting stunning worlds. And not only that, they did something a little bit more interesting with it than they've done when past Uncharted games. Uncharted games are typically rather linear, which totally fine. We're not that is not a knock, but it is just a fact. And this one, it's more open. So you have a map and you literally draw things as you find them. So like you'll come up, they have collectibles in this too, because every open world map apparently needs collectibles.
Steal all the stuff.
And as you find, you just like notice you can miss them. You can miss all of them. You can just drive right by them. But if you get out and look, she'll like make a little note on her map. And then once you get it, it like crosses it out. But then there's obviously like a few main places you need to go. And what I found interesting was that I only learned this through like a dev diary thing that they released. But because you can choose, there's no order. You can choose to go to any of the 3 places at any time. They had to record different dialogue at each of the places because they can be at a different point in their relationship depending on where you go and when. So I thought that was really interesting. And so far I've just been enjoying their sort of like Nadine is the straight man and Chloe is the sarcastic a-hole dynamic. I think it works really well. And they're just now sort of getting to the point where they're starting to reveal more things about themselves. So I'm like, okay, I want to go home and play more, but I can't for a little while.
Yeah, so my experience so far has been it very much feels like Uncharted, from the shooting to the collecting, the driving, the climbing, everything you know about Uncharted. This is definitely Uncharted, Uncharted 4 like
Yes.
1.25 or whatever.
1.5 HD remix.
The problem I have, and I'm disappointed to say this, is that Nadine and Chloe are badasses. When they're in combat, it's great. But man, it has no charm.
Really?
Their personalities together are nothing on Nate and Sully together.
You're not into like 2 hardened bitches running around together?
I mean, I think that's a difficult comparison to make because you're comparing characters that have had multiple games to have this bond over with 2 characters that have never even been in the same game before.
No, that's not I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but my perspective is, hey, this is their one shot. There isn't going to be like an Uncharted 5 with Chloe and Nadine, right?
Sure.
So like,
Yeah.
and Nadine was set up as a villain in Uncharted 4, and they're bringing her back now, and you can't just instantly turn around and be like, okay, Nadine is like the good girl now. And like the problem is she's inherently a really rough around the edges character. She's gristly, she's tough, she, you know, doesn't smile, she will punch you in the face as quick as, you know, like steal from you, but like that's who she is. But what that means is that she doesn't have funny one-liners. She's not charming. She's not relatable. She's most certainly not likable. It doesn't mean that she's not a good character. It just means she's not a character I want to be my number 2. And Chloe as the lead, because you only play as Chloe in the game, is great in those same ways that she's strong, she's intelligent, she is clearly running the show here. She has equal skill to Drake as far as, you know, treasure hunting. But she also just isn't quite as likable because she's a little bit more wry. The personality that she has is not the same kind of whimsical aloofness that Drake has. And like, I get that that's why they maybe chose her, because she is different. She's a little bit more hardened, and she's in a situation where Nathan Drake may not have swiped something or stolen something and been like, oh, it's not like the right thing to do. Chloe doesn't think twice about it. She does it instantly. And I think that is indicative of like, at his core, Nathan Drake has like this heart of gold, even though he really does like murder people over several different series of the franchise, or several games in the franchise, and he will like do like the wrong thing, but like you still like him because he's got this like boyish charm. And the reason I bring this up is because it's frustrating to see a game that has 2 incredible female leads and they both made them bitches. And that sucks. Because women so rarely get strong female lead characters, and Naughty Dog took these 2 characters, made them strong, but made them so hard that they're not likable. And this is like the quintessential female problem, is that women need to be likable in order to be favorable characters. And I think it's something worth discussing, because like, I am saying I don't like them for these reasons, and I hate that I have to say that, because I hate that like being likable is something that women have to be. And
But
like I'm
like
in this
Chloe.
conundrum of a situation, and like it sucks.
I'm confused on you're not like, I don't know. To me, I don't see Chloe as too hard, but maybe
Is it because you
Says
yourself are hard?
salty Steimer.
No, I
Just
think
kidding.
I think I relate a lot to Chloe. I think my
Okay,
personality is
sure.
similar to Chloe. So
Okay.
you think I'm a bitch?
No, Steimer, I love you. You're the best.
Why does this have to be about you?
No, I'm just kidding. But
do you think like it's a matter, because I feel like Sully and Drake bring out the best in each other,
Yes.
and do you feel like it's just a bad pairing of characters?
I do. I think that when you look at their relationship, it's clear, at least from the beginning dialogue, and obviously like it's a very narrative and story driven game, so we don't want to like give away things that come up. But like in the beginning of the dialogue, it feels like Nadine is only paired up with Chloe for profit, right? Whereas
Okay.
when you see Sully and Nathan Drake together, like clearly like Sully like wants to get his share.
Yeah.
But you can tell that he has a deep set of, you know, feelings, not romantic, for
Affection.
Drake.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
like,
man.
who cares?
He's like they have a connection, they have a relationship, and like at the end of the day, Sully will sacrifice the treasure to save Nathan Drake.
I like here's my counterpoint to everything you're saying. I like that this dynamic is different. I like that it's not necessarily 2 friends, it is 2 people who are relatively strangers getting together, having an adventure. I don't know how it ends, so I can't really comment on that. I'm hoping it sees them have a bit more of a bond. I don't need them to be best friends after this. You know, like that
They're
seems
not
like
gonna go get Manny Petty.
yeah, they don't need to go get mani-pedis. Exactly.
Oh my god.
But when you're talking about Nadine, her character is for profit. You were saying she's a villain in Uncharted 4. To me, she's not a villain. She's a baddie for hire, but she wasn't evil in anything that she
was
did.
a mercenary army leader who
Yes.
murdered hundreds of people.
You're Nathan Drake. You murder hundreds of people. Like how? Like
yeah,
who cares?
that's-
So,
I mean,
but
yeah, of
she was,
course.
and at the very end, sorry, slight spoilers for Uncharted 4. She fucking bounces as soon as like she realizes she's on the losing side. She's
Bye
like,
forever.
I have no real dog in this fight. I'ma leave because I value myself and my money over you and your stupid.
Your
Whatever
boy fight.
your
It's a
stupid
boy fight.
Exactly, your stupid boy fight. I don't care about your boy fight. I'ma leave. Good for you is what I say. So I mean, I get what you're saying. No, and I agree with you 100%. They are not as charming as Nate and Sully, but I like that it's different, and I don't mind that yet. Now, again, I'm only like a few, I'm like 3-4 hours into this, so if it doesn't have growth that I'm looking for, I could see myself being a little bit disappointed. If it kind of like stays flat the way that it's been going.
If it's still flat 4 hours in, though, I feel like within the first hour of it.
No, it's had to ramp up. I'm just saying, like, if it kind of like peters and does this. Sorry, if you're listening, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if it has like the slight gradual
She's moving her hand
and then
upward
plateaus,
like a
that will be bad.
motion.
If it keeps going steadily up, I will be happy. So I'll have
Okay.
to report back later.
Interesting.
Okay.
I've yet to dive in, so
I'm
keep
doing that.
in
This
was
mind.
like
another thing we have to say: PlayStation sent me, Brittany, and Alexa codes.
Codes
Thank
happened.
you.
Yes, I did not receive a copy, so but I'm playing a copy. So excuse me. I want to make sure people know, like, the game itself is about probably like a 6 to 8 hour experience, depending on how much exploration you do
Really?
in the open world sections.
I've spent, like I said, 3 to 4, and I've done 2 of the main 3 pillars that I was shown at the beginning. I imagine there'll be more after, but I have no idea. And then I've been driving around looking for tokens at this point.
You could spend a lot of time looking for collectibles, but if you only spend a little bit of time and then you are following the story, it's about 6 to 8 hours.
But here's actually another positive I'll say
Why-
to it,
oh.
and that is it is much better edited than Uncharted 4.
Oh yeah, no, like listen, my criticisms
I'm
of the
not-
story
yeah.
aside, like the game looks beautiful. It plays exactly like Uncharted. Like I said at the beginning, it has the shooting mechanics, the climbing, the puzzles, all the things that, I mean, the puzzles weren't as intricate as they probably could have been, but like everything that you played in an Uncharted game, you're going to get in Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah, I haven't had a puzzle yet. Actually, now that you say that has stumped me whatsoever,
Right.
remotely, even
Yeah.
slightly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying this is bad. I'm not like,
no.
don't get this thing. I'm just saying I want people to go into it with their expectations set in a specific way. Like, this is like the idea that Naughty Dog kept touting this as a standalone game to me feels false. It feels very much like a piece of DLC and an expansion, and I wish they would have just called it that instead of saying when you buy Uncharted The Lost Legacy, you're getting a full standalone Uncharted game. That to me feels false.
That's fair. Because Uncharted because Uncharted games typically are much longer than that. They're like double that size, usually.
Really? Are they really that long?
They're long.
like
Yeah.
15 to 18 hours?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I played every single one of them, but the time flies then.
Yeah.
I'm just not aware of that.
No.
Interesting. This is really interesting for me to hear. I'm very, very excited to dive in because, like I just said, I've played all the Uncharted games. I think it's interesting, though, Steimer, that, you're like, if it hasn't ramped up, but it sounds like you're kind of nearing completion.
I don't know if I am.
Well, if
but
you're 4 hours
possibly.
into it.
Well, I've been looking around at stuff.
Well, the point I'm getting
What
at...
chapter are you on? Just a chapter number.
3 or 4.
Oh, then you still have a ways to go. You have been spending a
Or-
lot of time running around then.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
not a very good driver.
Well, the whole thing I'm getting at is, like, I feel like within the first hour of playing, like, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, it's like this chemistry between Sully and Drake is just super, like, electric. And you're like,
Yes.
okay, like, I love these characters. And I love the way they bounce off each other. If it was stagnant, because I thought you were 4 hours in, which would mean you're very close, kind of close to near completion, I was going to be worried. But if you're early on,
They're
It's probably like mid game.
to be clear. Whoa, bless you. To be clear,
Snuck up on me.
to be clear, at the beginning they start with, as Andrea was saying, very little chemistry. I've found them growing, like as they they have conversations and they kind of reveal things to each other. All I'm saying is I hope it continues on this path. And that's all. Like, so I do understand what Andrea's saying. For me, I'm kind of giving it, I guess, I don't know, an easier pass, like, because I know these aren't the same characters. I'm not expecting them to have the same sort of charm
Okay.
together, because I think it's really hard. Like, that's a magical element to have 2 characters and
But,
2 voice actors.
The reason I brought
together.
it up is because Naughty Dog's strength isn't their gameplay, right?
It's
No
their
one plays a Naughty Dog
characters.
game because the shooting mechanics are excellent or because they have the best puzzle-solving dungeon. You play a
Okay,
Naughty Dog
actually,
game
best
because the
puzzles.
graphics are beautiful and the story is incredible.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff just facilitates you getting through that. And that to me was what was just a little disappointing.
I'll be curious to see, because none of you have finished it yet. I'll be curious to see how their story wraps up.
Yeah,
And then
I am too.
Yeah. That's my weekend plan. I'm going to dig into that.
Me too.
Hells
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, we're going to wrap this segment. Unless you have something to talk about.
Oh, I played nothing this weekend. I saw Wreck-It Ralph for the first time. It was very sad. That's what I did this weekend.
Oh.
Well, you talked about Corpse Party with me, and I
I did
appreciate
talk about
you.
Corpse Party with you. No,
Perfect.
I started a new job last week, and I've been underwater.
Yay! A round of
Not the underwater
applause.
part, but
Not the underwater part. Not like the fun Little Mermaid underwater part. Like the, oh, shit, everything is on fire
Well, it's
under
PAX.
the water.
We got the
PAX is
right
coming.
woman for the
And
job.
PAX is coming.
Oh,
PAX is
speaking
fun.
of which, we have a big PAX announcement.
Surprise!
We're gonna talk about at the top of the next segment. So stick
surprise
with
in a bit.
Stick with
Delayed
us.
Surprise.
We have it coming. We'll be right back.
Never see it coming.
This episode of the What's Good Games podcast is brought to you by Nick Chester. So Nick Chester has requested a very special shout out and announcement.
A Chester requester?
The Chester
Ooh.
requester.
Ooh.
What are some good Chesters that you know, ladies?
Well, there's Nick Chester, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Chester Cheetah.
The one and only Chester Cheetah.
Who is a cheetah?
But
He's a
Cheetos
weird
don't
cheetah.
taste like Chesters.
They don't-
Nor
well,
are
we
they made
hope
from
not.
cheetahs.
What if you ate a
I'm so
cheetah and it
confused.
tasted like that?
That would be the worst. But you guys know what the best Chester is.
What is
What?
the best Chester?
Tell us.
Debbie Chester.
Debbie
Oh,
Chester.
yeah.
We want to give a big thank you and shout out to the one and only Debbie Chester.
The bester Chester.
Mother of 3, gamer extraordinaire, beautiful person inside and out.
Very pretty.
This is your special dedication for being an incredible role model for your kids, a dear, dear friend, and all around a badass bitch.
Oh, hell yeah.
I just melted into a puddle of goo. That was
I
amazing.
know. She is the best, though.
She's great.
Just saying.
She's the best. We love you, Debbie
Yes.
Chester. All right, welcome back, everybody. So before we get into our off topic, we have an incredible PAX announcement. We are super excited to announce that we are partnering with Square Enix and Deck 9 Games to present the Life is Strange Before the Storm Relax at PAX with What's Good Games Party.
Woo!
Ah.
And we're all
So-
going to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. If you're going to be at PAX West, please join us on Friday night, September 1st from 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific at the Unicorn Bar in Seattle. We will be having drink tickets. There's food. There's a photo booth. We're
Ooh.
going to be there taking your questions, taking photos, having a good time, and talking about Life is Strange. So members of the dev team will be on hand. Lead writer Zach Harris will be there, which is excellent. And all around, it's going to be a fun time. So a big shout out to the sponsor of our event, Square Enix, for putting together this party with us. We're super pumped for it. And we will have some exclusive What's Good Games gear.
Is it what I think it is?
Dun,
Snapbacks,
dun.
yo!
Snapbacks are dope, yo!
We're going to be giving away a few of the snapbacks at the show. We also want to give a big shout out to our friends at Astro for donating some amazing Astro gaming gear that we will
Ooh.
also be giving away, including a backpack and headset and some cool stuff. So if you guys, again, are going to be at PAX, please make sure to put that on your calendar. We're going to have a Facebook invite up on our page. If you guys haven't been there, that's facebook.com/whatsgoodgames. You can find out all of the details there. We're super pumped about it. So when we get back from PAX, we'll have more news. But for now, on this last segment of the show, we got another email. And
Another email.
this is from Mr. Howell.
Hello.
And they ask, would you still be fans of games even if you were not good at them?
I am so bad at
So
very
this is
many
an interesting
fine video
question.
games.
And we were talking about should we do another question for this week, and we are like, yeah, this is an interesting one. So Alexa, you responded to this immediately.
Oh yeah, I'm bad at very many fine video games. I am bad at literally every game that you could ever play with someone online, which are mostly shooters. I am terrible at. I am terrible at Rocket League, which all my friends like playing together. I'm terrible at anything with a gun in it. I can't, as you all saw when we streamed episode Prompto, I'm bad with guns.
You did fine.
I did. I'm bad at sports. I'm bad at like MOBAs, like even some like just general like games that include combat. Sometimes I just gotta cheese my way around some shit. I'm not great at all the video games, and I'm very bad at very many of them.
I think,
But I like to play them because
I'm not
it's
great at
fun.
all the video games.
right, and
Dash
this is
Alexa Ray Korea.
this is
And
actually
I keep coming back.
this is a very important thing I think to be transparent about, because I think there's this thought out there that in order for you to play video games, you have to be good. It's shameful to play on easy mode. And I actually struggled with this a lot when I was first getting my media passes into PAX and E3. I would have anxiety about playing video games in front of people, like shooters, because I would be worried that I would suck so bad that I would just like make a total fool of myself. And I am here, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you it is okay to not be the best at video games. You don't play games because you're good at them. You play them because you enjoy the experiences that they deliver and the way they make you feel.
Unless you are an esports player, and then you better be good
And
at
then you
it.
gotta be good.
Right.
I can tell you the exact moment in time that I stopped caring about whether or not people thought I was good at video
Yeah, I don't care
games.
anymore. I used to, but
I was playing, no lie, I was playing Mighty Number 9 at an Xbox event with Keiji
no.
Inafune sitting
that
next
game
to me.
exists.
And I was doing so bad. Someone took a photo. A photo exists. Someone took a photo of me playing the game, and I'm all into it. And Inafune-san is on his phone, not even watching me play. And I saw that photo, and I was like, you know what? Nobody gives a shit how I play these games, whether I'm good at them. Nobody cares. Like, easy mode, dude, don't be ashamed to play on easy mode. If you're a person like me who's like, I want to get a feel for it, I want to get it on the ground level and maybe get better, or just continue to be bad at it, or you just want to play for the story, there is no shame in playing on easy mode.
Absolutely.
Absolutely no shame.
No shame at
Most
all.
shooters,
No.
I will always play on easy because I want to experience a story. Like Call of Duty, for example, I think the cinematic experiences they deliver in their single player campaigns, phenomenal, really engrossing. I love it, but I suck at shooters. I shoot everything but my enemy. I'll shoot the ground. I will shoot that rock 100 yards to the left of it. I will shoot the sky. I will shoot a cloud. I will shoot a bird flying in the sky. I will not shoot my enemy. So the only way I can thoroughly
I gotta see this.
It
I
sounds
gotta
like a
see
poem.
this.
I will shoot the birds. I will shoot the sky. I will shoot my
clouds,
enemy.
but I will not shoot my enemy.
I do not like to be frustrated in video games. I do not like a challenge unless I'm playing with friends, because then I feel like we can put our brains together and figure things out. So I always play on easy if it's something that I know I'm not good at. Like JRPGs, I will play on the hardest difficulty because I know I'm very talented at those, and platformers as well. But but other than that, I suck at everything else.
I play.
I have no shame.
Most games on normal because I like, as at least to start, because I like to see what the baseline is. I like to see what's going on, like what a normal, like what the average person's experiencing. I want to see.
Yeah.
There have been exceptions. The one I can think of that was still insanely difficult was Catherine.
Yeah.
I started that game on easy and then
it's a
was still
special
like, this
case.
is still really freaking hard. I don't know
That's how I felt about
how to
Prey.
do this.
Oh yeah,
I
the
had
coffee
to put
mug.
it on very easy.
Prey.
It
Coffee
was
mug.
still really hard.
Well, good thing like the upcoming games like Wolfenstein has that like baby mode.
Yep, it's
Yeah,
the best.
Wolfenstein's
Daddy,
really
can I
at it.
play?
Yeah, Daddy
It's called
can
Daddy,
I
can I
play.
play?
And I think
Yeah.
every gamer has their
OG.
strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like Andrea's really good at shooters. I'm
Andrea's
assuming-
really good
yeah.
at every genre.
Yeah,
she shoot it
No.
out.
Except
No.
maybe JRPGs.
No, I
No.
Well, that's what I'm
Not
saying.
good.
Like for me, when I play
But I
JRPGs,
could get good if I actually played them.
that's exactly
Yeah.
it. I don't care enough to get good. I care enough.
Right?
Yeah,
Get
that's
good.
it. Get good. I enjoy a challenge in my JRPGs, the turn-based strategy. I love that. But when it comes to shooters and anything else, I'm like, I don't want a challenge, and it just depends. Everyone has their preferences.
Yeah, I won't put I've never put a game on a higher difficulty than normal. Because I don't care.
Not
I
even
don't
on Mass Effect or Dragon
no,
Age.
I don't
I played
care.
Final Fantasy 15 on the hardest difficulty.
I played Diablo on the hardest, Diablo 3, but I was playing
Diablo
with
might
Jason
actually be-
and
Diablo.
Divinity Original Sin.
You never played Halo on the hard difficulty?
Oh, that's a
Why?
shooter.
Why?
No, I play on baby mode.
I play on normal.
Yes,
I play
baby
Halo on
mode.
normal because I'm playing with people. But if I'm playing by myself, if I'm whatever, I'm easy.
Yeah.
We could do 4-player co-op Legendary Halo.
I would love that.
Maybe
See,
ask
that would be
Baby
fun
Would
to
you,
me.
Brittany? Because you would be dead every few
I
minutes.
would, but I don't mind the
Both
challenge.
of us. Go on without us.
I don't
We'll
mind.
be back here.
Alexa and I will be like picking grass.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind challenges when I'm playing with people because then it's fun. It's a collaborative, sorry. It's a collaborative thing, and we get okay, let's think strategy. That's fun. But when I'm by myself, I don't want to think strategy with myself.
I'm only in on
don't
this if
strategy
there's
yourself?
pizza.
No. Wait, I heard pizza. What?
I
Pizza?
said I'm only agreeing to this if there's pizza.
I'm trying to think of a game that I've played where I knew I was. I think Destiny is a good example. So, like, I do very well in the PvE content in Destiny because most of the enemy archetypes, after you play, for several hundred hours, you just get really good at shooting them.
You're
And-
pretty good at taking down fools.
Yeah. But. Yeah, I can take down the Fallen and take in, and the Hive and whatever. Like, they're easy to take down. But when you get into Crucible, that's when it really, you kind of put your skills to the test. And the guys in my clan wanted to play more Crucible. And so I just, was like, either I said no and I didn't get to play with my crew, or I said yes and I just suffered through it. So you do it, and I wasn't good at it. But I had fun because I was playing with my friends. But over time, I kind of got okay at it. I would never call myself good at Crucible because I never made it to the lighthouse for Trials of Osiris because I just couldn't hang with the 3v3 PvP mechanic. If you guys have played Destiny and done Trials, good on you. It's really hard. So for you ladies who are your eyes are what are you
I don't
talking
understand
about?
any of the proper nouns you're saying, but it's a good nice story.
I know the Crucible. I don't know the trial.
There's a PvP mode essentially called the Trials of Osiris. So it's not available all the time. It's only available on the weekends.
It's like Salmon Run, Splatoon.
You have to
Oh
get a
my
special token, and then
God.
you put your token in, and then you can do the trials. And it's you and 2 other guardians versus so it's 3v3, and it's one shot you're dead. There is revives available, but it's tough to do. So
Meh.
essentially, you have to be the people who are still playing trials. Well, now there's no more trials; they're done now. But who were playing trials in year 2 and into and beyond were really good at it. And I just never did it because I was bad. But the Crucible I got okay at, So I
It's
did
all
play
about
it,
how
and I
much
enjoyed
time.
playing it, even if I was at the bottom or even in the middle of the pack. At the end when they put all the scores up. I was okay with it because that's how I felt. That's how I felt about Overwatch too, and we're gonna play Overwatch.
Oh no!
Yes, finally.
By the time the podcast goes up, we will have played Overwatch on our stream.
I'm still.
Yeah, I mean the problem with any game is that, or any genre rather, you do need to practice in order to get really good at it.
I'm too lazy.
So, and I just, for all of us, for the most part, we try to keep up with everything as it's happening in the industry because we're in the industry. So it's much harder for us than, say, somebody who doesn't do that and it's just they play a couple games a year. You can get really good at those games because you don't have as many, whereas we're drowning in them and we're trying to stay afloat.
Good problem to have, though.
Oh, absolutely. That's not.
I was
no,
like, did you hear what you
Oh my
just
god,
said?
just too many video games.
so many video games.
Too
I
many
mean,
video games,
I'm not
you
trying to.
guys.
No, I'm not trying to do that.
So many video
I'm not
games.
doing that voice. I'm just saying.
So many video games.
None of us are going to be a pro player at anything because we are playing too many other things.
Right.
Well, okay.
Do you want to be a Dota 2
No!
professional player?
I don't want to.
No
Coldness.
need to yell.
TLDR. It's okay to not be that great at a game and still derive enjoyment from it.
Yes.
It's
Exactly.
all good. Screw it if people are watching you and judging you.
Yeah.
You live your life. You live your truth.
Can I
Live,
just say?
live your truth.
Here's.
Be bad.
I'm gonna tell one story about
good, bad.
how the spirit animal you should strive to be,
Okay.
Oh god.
and that is my 3-year-old niece. I don't know. She's
So you're telling us all to be
your
a
niece
3-year-old
is an
girl.
animal.
she's not an animal, but take the spirit out of this.
Got
out of
it.
the story. So my aunt and her, she are at some community table. There's clay. They're working on this. At the nether table, there is a man and his daughter who's 6.
Okay.
The young daughter, she's messing around. The dad and the daughter are not talking to, her name is Noelle, the young daughter. But he's like, what are you making? It's blah, blah, blah. Noelle looks over, and she's not being mean. She's just 2.5, 3. She's just very blunt, right? She goes, oh, it doesn't look like blah to me. So then the dad gets pissy. The girl doesn't care. The dad turns around and goes, what are you making? And she's not making anything, right? Because she's 2.5, like she's 3, she's just meshing clay around. And she goes, my grandma likes dragons, so I'm making a dragon. And he goes, doesn't look like a dragon to me. She goes, oh. And keeps going back to what she's doing. She does not give a tiny rat's ass what this man thinks of her. Or her crappy clay dragon. Exactly.
That's amazing.
So whenever you are feeling down in life, think, oh, and move on.
This is great advice, Steimer. This is wonderful.
That's good.
Thanks, Steimer's 3-year-old
I think we
niece.
got to end on that high note.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us, for listening to us rant and talk about video games and some news. We couldn't do this without you. We appreciate your support. We would love to hear from you. We're available by email at contact@whatsgoodgames.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter at whatsgood_games, on Facebook at facebook.com/whatsgoodgames. And of course, we have to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, we had 2 exclusive streams go up this week. Did you miss out on them? That sucks. Don't miss out. Get in on it.
They're
Get
on VOD.
on it. There's
well,
still
I
time.
mean, if you're a patron, you can see the VOD.
Right.
But if you're not a patron and you
Right.
missed it, get in. Be a patron.
Subscribe
We'd love
to
to have
What's
you.
Good Games. Link.
We have some fun
Subscribe
community
to
posts
What's
that
Good
go up. We've
Games.
got a great set of people over there writing stuff, making jokes. Are you okay? What's happening?
I made a really bad Breath
This
of
is
the
why
Wild
Alexa
joke.
is in charge of our social media.
Link. Subscribe to What's Good Games. Link. Forget that other shit.
the blood moon rises.
Go for the $10
Oh, I
watch
hate
tier.
that. Okay, never mind.
You get all the streams. Link. Sorry, fuck me.
Oh my gosh, I love you girls.
Let's go.
Can you just all move to San Francisco so we can hang out all
Can
the
you all
time?
move to LA?
Don't die, Alexa.
LA is sunny.
Hold on. She's back.
Oh, that was nice.
If you are not watching us on youtube.com/whatsgoodgames, you are missing out. I snorted. I'm sorry.
You snorted. She slapped my butt. I laid down. It was great.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Please rate, subscribe, like, comment, support us however you can. We greatly appreciate you guys doing so. Have a fantastic weekend. We will
See
be
you at
back
PAX.
next weekend. Goodbye, everybody. Mwah.
Get out of here. Run. Run.